When he opened his eyes, Mo Fan was lying on the cold cement floor, surrounded by familiar yet unfamiliar urban streets. There are many high-rise buildings, LED billboards are flashing with luxury goods sales, and passers-by pass each other in a hurry, unaware of the slightest ripples of spiritual energy hidden in the air. This is the modern world of immortality where spiritual energy is revived. Mortals are as busy as ants, unaware that the cultivator family hidden in the economic context is using elixirs and spiritual veins as pawns to control the stock market, real estate and even black market auctions. The spiritual veins are exhausted, and the immortal cultivators are frantically competing for resources. Mobile phones, this mundane gadget, have become a heaven-defying magic weapon that connects the immortal network. The energy of the spiritual veins needs to be charged to maintain the operation of the magic power. The harsh sound of brakes is like the roar of a wild beast, tearing apart the neon lights of the city under the night sky. Mo Fan's vision was spinning as a black Bentley crashed into him like a wild horse. The roar of the engine mixed with the scream of twisted metal instantly engulfed his consciousness. The pain was like thousands of needles piercing the bones, spreading from his chest to his limbs. He felt like his soul was being torn apart, and the smell of blood filled his nose, mixed with the smell of burnt asphalt. Boom! The world exploded and was reborn. Mo Fan groped his way up, his clothes were in tatters and covered in blood, he looked like a beggar on the street. In his previous life, he was a genius in the world of cultivation. After a conspiracy, he fell into the mortal world and was reborn in this 18-year-old body. With a thought in his mind, an ancient mobile phone appeared in his palm, a cultivation mobile phone. The screen flickered, displaying, spiritual vein energy, 0%. Damn it, is your spiritual vein exhausted to this extent? Mo Fan cursed, his nose filled with the rotten smell of sewers. He caught a glimpse of the dark alley at the corner of the street, and faint waves of spiritual energy were flowing out. It was the city sewer, a dirty place that ordinary people avoided, but it was a treasure in his eyes. Gritting his teeth and getting in, the water gurgled under his feet, and the moss on the wall was slippery, making the sound of bubbles. The mobile phone detected a weak spiritual vein, a spiritual spring that was only the size of a mortal fist and was extremely turbid. That's it. Mo Fan laughed at himself, but forcefully plugged his phone into the source of his spiritual veins. It buzzed and vibrated, the screen of the mobile phone lit up with green light, and the spiritual energy was extracted like filaments and merged into his meridians. The pain was like burning, the meridians were stretched open inch by inch, the veins on his forehead popped out, and his teeth clenched. Dirty water splashed around him, and the rotten smell rushed straight to his forehead, but he held on. Suddenly, the phone interface shook violently, and a shadow of an ancient elixir appeared. The golden light is dazzling and the fragrance of red pepper is astounding, as if it has been aged for thousands of years, instantly overpowering the stench of the sewer. The shadow solidified, and an elixir the size of a thumb rolled down from the palm of his hand. 9 dragon patterns flowed on the surface, exuding majestic spiritual power. But this is not enough. Mo Fan gasped and crawled out of the alley. Information flashed in his mind. Fu Han, the ambitious young master of the Chamber of Commerce, holds a monopoly on black market elixirs, controls several cultivation families, and has lost all spiritual resources to his hands. Lin Yuyan, the daughter of a cultivating family, is beautiful and intelligent. Her family intelligence network is spread all over the city, specializing in elixir auction information. Qin Feng is a hidden swordsman with a powerful sword spirit. It is said that he can make heavenly oaths, force oaths, or curses. Shen Qingqing, a cold and charming female cultivator, an expert in ghost town enchantment, is in charge of the Netherworld Auction House, which is a portal for the cultivation world to test the black market. Ancient elixir. Rebirth benefits. Mo Fan's eyes widened and his heart beat like a war drum. Swallowing it hastily, the elixir melts in your mouth, and the heat flows like a volcano erupting, washing over your limbs and bones. The meridians swell, the bones crackle, and the spiritual power is superimposed layer by layer, from the early stage of foundation building to the peak of foundation building. He roared, air waves rolled around him, the walls of the sewer cracked, and the accumulated water evaporated into mist. Being low-key in the world, starting from the auction house. Mo Fan murmured, wiping away the dirt on his face, his clothes were still as tattered as a beggar. He strode towards the Netherworld Pavilion, in the city center. The night wind blew in his face, mixed with the cold light of neon lights and the hum of high-rise buildings. Netherworld Pavilion is hidden behind a high-end club. It is a private club in the eyes of mortals. In front of the door, two stone lions smile ferociously, hiding the spirit-gathering formation. The guards were two strong men in the middle stage of foundation building. They had strong muscles and wolf-like eyes. When they glanced at Mo Fan, their noses twitched and they smelled the stench of sewers on his body. Get lost. What is this? How dare a beggar come to Netherworld Pavilion? The guard on the left spat, his voice like a hammer hitting the ground, full of disdain. The individual cultivators passing by all around looked sideways, and some chuckled, look at how poor he is, his spiritual power is muddy, he still wants to enter the auction house. He's looking for death. Mo Fan had no expression on his face and said calmly, I have information about the elixir. I want to see Shin. Huh? Elixir? The guard on the right laughed heartily, his fat body trembling, and the flesh on his face trembling. Boy, do you know what the elixir is? Young Master Fu Han has a monopoly on the market, and a foundation building elixir sells for a sky-high price. You are a beggar, you can't even get enough to recharge your spiritual veins, and you still want to give back information? Get away, or ask the security guards to drag you to feed the dogs. There were sarcasm everywhere, and the surrounding individual customers pointed and pointed. A female cultivator covered her mouth and smiled sweetly, look at his rags, his spiritual energy is impure, he is probably the waste collected from the sewer. How can Pavilion Master Shin meet such a thing? Mo Fan sneered in his heart, he swept through the world of cultivation in his previous life, how dare these ants dare to be so bold. But he suppressed it first when he wanted to promote it, and adjusted the water when he was low-key. He took a step forward, his spiritual pressure slightly released, and the air was stagnant. The guard's face changed slightly, but he still shouted, why are you pretending? I'm in the middle stage of foundation building. I'll trample you to death like an ant. At this moment, steady footsteps came from the door, and a group of strong men in black filed out. The leader was Fu Han's subordinate, Iron Armley, who was in the late stage of foundation building, with arms like iron pillars and sinister eyes. When the guard saw this, his eyes lit up and he said flatteringly, Brother Tai, this beggar wants to see Pavilion Master Shen and says he has information about the elixir. Huh, you are the one to judge. Iron Armley glanced at Mo Fan, smelling the lingering fragrance of the elixir in his nose, his pupils shrank, but then he smiled ferociously, dressed as a beggar. Master Fu's auction house, how can you be allowed to act wild? Brothers, break his legs and throw them into the sewer to feed the rats. The strong men in black were surrounding him with ferocious smiles, their fists were roaring, and their spiritual power was oppressing them like mountains falling. The individual tourists around him retreated, excitement and fear flashed in their eyes, Iron Armley takes action, this kid is dead. Fu Han Chamber of Commerce is powerful, who dares to provoke him? Mo Fan's clothes curled up, and the corners of his mouth curved into a look of contempt. The crisis is imminent, and the premonition of blood is in the air. Iron Armley was the first to take action, his iron fist wrapped in the strong wind and smashed into Mo Fan's face. The wind of the punch was like thunder, the street lights swayed, and the individual visitors gasped, it's so cruel. This punch will even be disabled in the middle stage of foundation building. Mo Fan did not dodge, he raised one hand and blocked lightly. Bang! There was a loud sound like gold and iron clashing, and Iron Armley's arm shook violently. The force of the rebound made him stagger back 3 steps, his face turned pale, you are at the peak of foundation building? The guard's eyes widened, his mouth opened in an O shape, and he trembled. Impossible. His spiritual pressure was clearly. There was a buzz of discussion among the individual tourists around, and an old cultivator rubbed his eyes and muttered, "This beggar was hiding too deep just now. He is blocking an iron-armed man with one hand, he is a monster." But Iron Armly roared, "Come together. Master Fu's face cannot be lost." The strong men in black swarmed around, their spiritual skills roared, and fireballs and ice blades flew towards Mo Fan. Mo Fan's eyes turned cold, his cultivation phone quietly lit up, and his spiritual energy began to circulate quietly. His figure flickered, and his afterimage flickered, moving through the crowd in an instant. Bang bang bang. There were repeated crisp slaps, and the cheeks of 5 or 6 strong men were swollen, blood spurted out, and they fell to the ground and twitched. "Ah! My teeth!" A strong man covered his face and wailed, his eyes full of fear. Iron Arm Lee's eyes were about to burst, he pulled out the Iron Arm magic weapon, his spiritual power exploded, and turned into a giant arm and smashed it down, death. Mo Fan hummed softly, pressed his palm on the iron arm, and the remaining power of the elixir surged. Click! The iron arm broke, and Lee screamed and fell to the ground. Everyone gasped, breaking the iron arm with one finger. What kind of monster is this? The guard's legs were weak and he knelt down, his voice trembling like chaff. Sir, please forgive me. We are blind." The eyes of the individual visitors turned from ridicule to admiration. A female cultivator's pretty face flushed, so handsome. Is this beggar a hidden master? Fu Han's men are like dogs in front of him. Mo Fan clapped his hands and said indifferently, "Take me to see Shinqingqing." Iron Armly stood up and glared viciously, "Boy, you provoked Fu Han. He has a monopoly on the elixir market and has countless spiritual veins. Just wait for death." Before he finished speaking, a cold and charming figure appeared in the pavilion. Lin Yuyan? No, it was Shinqingqing's voice that came from inside. "Let him in." The guard climbed up shivering and pushed open the door. When Mo Fan stepped in, the fragrance of elixirs and blood intertwined in his nose. The lights in the Netherworld pavilion were brightly lit, and the hidden formations buzzed. But the moment he took a step, his phone vibrated, and a piece of information popped up. Fu Han came in person and led the crowd to surround him. Crisis has arisen again, and the ghost town barrier intelligence is actually involved. In the inner hall, Shinqingqing's cold and pretty face appeared, her eyes were like ice. "Are you the one who activated the elixir?" Mo Fan smiled, but heard Fu Han roaring outside, "Seal the door. Tonight, this beggar will die." The air is solidified, and murderous intent is everywhere. The lights in the inner hall were like ghosts, with faint blue light flowing under the crystal chandelier, and the air was filled with the sweetness and faint blood of burning incense. Shinqingqing stood behind the jade table on the high platform, with a cold and pretty face like an ice sculpture, slightly frowning eyebrows, a black silk robe wrapped around her slim figure, and a look of inquiry flashed in her eyes. There are more than a dozen Fu Han's men scattered around the corner of the hall. They are all in the middle of Foundation building, their eyes are as sinister as wolves. The screams of Iron Armly just now are still echoing in their ears. They are whispering in low voices and clenching their fists. "Boy, stop." A bearded man took the lead in blocking the road. In the later stage of Foundation building, his momentum exploded, and his spiritual pressure surged like a tide, causing the candlelight in the hall to flicker. His nose twitched as he smelled the rotten smell of sewers mixed with the fragrance of elixirs left on Mo Fan's body, and his face turned livid. "Why do you enter the inner hall of Netherworld Pavilion without a jade badge? You beat that loser Iron Armly to the ground, so you think you can run wild? Master Fu's place, beggar, get out." Fu Han's men burst into laughter in the hall, and a skinny monkey-like man said conspiratorially, "Look at his rags and muddy spiritual energy. He just got lucky. Mr. Shen, is this kind of thing worthy of you? Throw it out to feed the rats." The laughter was like a tide, mixed with the clang of iron tools. Everyone's eyes were full of ridicule and murderous intent. Someone had secretly needed the secret, and the fire energy condensed in the palms, and the heat wave hit their faces. Guard Iron Armly crawled into the hall, his arm dripping with blood, his face twisted like a ghost, staring at Mo Fan with hatred. Master Fu's men are here, he dares to be so presumptuous. Boy, kneel down and hand over the elixir, otherwise you will get cramps. The surrounding individual customers and auction servants looked sideways, confusion and fear flashed in their eyes. How did this beggar get in? Iron Armly is already on his knees. But without a jade card, he must be a fake expert. Mo Fan stood with his hands behind his back, his clothes were stained with blood, but there was a cold arc of contempt at the corner of his mouth. In his previous life, he could destroy these ants with a snap of his fingers, but in this life, he tried his best to make trouble, but he was repeatedly provoked. With a thought in his mind, the cultivation phone quietly appeared in the palm of his hand, the simple screen flickered with dim light, the spiritual energy bar showed 45%, and hummed like a swarm of bees flapping their wings. Identity? Ha! Mo Fan said calmly, his voice as calm as an ancient well, but the laughter in the hall stopped abruptly. With a tap of his finger, the spiritual pulse scanning module was deployed on the mobile phone interface, and green light shot out like a probe, instantly covering the entire hall. The spiritual energy in the air rippled and twisted, and the scanning beam pierced the storage bag on the guard's waist. Buzz. A sharp alarm sounded, and a three-dimensional image was projected on the screen, several low-grade spiritual stones, with fresh traces of spiritual power, and swallowed the Netherworld Pavilion Spirit Gathering Array spiritual stones, quantity 17, worth 1 medium-grade spiritual stone, appeared next to it. The bearded man's eyes widened, his mouth opened into an O shape, and he said in a trembling voice, "What the hell is this mobile phone? A spiritual pulse scan. It can even detect the storage bag." Iron-armed Lee's face turned pale, his broken arm shook like chaff, and sweat dropped like rain. "No, maybe. I didn't steal it." But the image was magnified mercilessly, and Shenqingqing's exclusive mark was clearly visible. Fu Han's men around him gasped, and some of them backed away. Master Fu knew that he would chop him up. Shenqingqing's eyes lit up, and a rare wave appeared on her cold and pretty face. She took a step forward, and the skirt of her black robe swept over the jade bricks, making a soft rustling sound. She caught the ancient aura emitted by the mobile phone in her nose. Cultivation mobile phone. Rumor has it that ancient relics can directly connect to the immortal network, and take the spiritual pulse to charge. Where did you get it? Her voice was like jade from a cold spring, with suppressed excitement. The eyes of everyone in the hall turned from mockery to shock. A maid with a pretty face turned pale and murmured, "Pavilion Master Shen was moved, this beggar is hiding too deep." Shenqingqing smiled slightly, her lips as red as blood. "Deal. But first prove your elixir." She waved her jade hand, and the formation in the hall lit up, blocking out Fu Han's roar outside. Mo Fan nodded and took out the remains of the elixir from his arms, golden shavings the size of a thumb, dragon patterns looming, and the fragrance of the elixir filled the air like wine, overwhelming the incense burning in the hall. Shenqingqing came closer, sniffed lightly with the tip of her nose, and her beautiful eyes widened. The ancient 9 dragons elixir. It can go straight to the golden elixir. Fu Han's foundation building elixir is completely different from it. Her voice trembled slightly, and the servants around them rubbed their eyes and whispered, "It smells so good. The meridians are numb when you smell it. Is there really an elixir?" Mo Fan put away his mobile phone and released his spiritual pressure slightly. The foundation building peak momentum was like a mountain pressing down. Several candles in the hall suddenly extinguished and the dark wind howled. "Pavilion Master Shen, how about the elixir information exchanged for the secret of the Ghost City barrier?" He ignored everyone and walked straight to the high platform. Fu Han's men subconsciously gave way. Some people's throats rolled, and their eyes were full of fear and admiration. "I took out the guard's boss in one sweep. This mobile phone is simply unbelievable. After the exchange was completed, Shen Qingqing whispered, Ghost City Barrier, ancient forbidden land, endless spiritual veins, but it requires extraordinary talent to travel through. Fu Han has been coveting it for a long time, and holds the spiritual vein fragment to monopolize the market. Tonight's auction, there is a Ghost City spiritual vein fragment starting at the bidding, with a medium-grade spiritual stone of 100,000. With it, your mobile phone can be upgraded. Her eyes were eager, hiding her ambition. The auction was about to begin, and the jade seat area in the hall was packed with individual guests and children of aristocratic families. The host banged the jade hammer, resounding like thunder. The next piece is the Ghost City spiritual vein fragment. The starting bid is 100,000 medium-grade spiritual stones. The fragment was placed on a crystal plate, the size of a fist, and the internal spiritual veins flowed like a galaxy, emitting buzzing spiritual pressure, and the air was filled with clear spiritual mist. Fu Han's thin monkey was the first to bid, 110,000. The bearded man followed up, 120,000. Who dares to steal Master Fu's face? Everyone looked sideways and whispered, Fu Han is powerful, this fragment will definitely win them. Mo Fan sat in the corner, his appearance as a beggar in rags attracted snickers, and a female cultivator from the first family covered her mouth. A poor guy also comes to bid? I'm laughing to death. Mo Fan calmly held up the sign, 130,000. The hall was silent, and the thin monkey smiled ferociously, Boy, are you looking for death? 140,000. Mo Fan kept shouting, 15, 16. The voice was calm, but it was like a knife cutting through the air. The bearded man with a red face and a thick neck said, 200,000. You can't touch Master Fu's spiritual veins. The individual customers around were talking about the situation. Is this beggar crazy? Mo Fan raised his lips slightly and secretly scanned the fragments with his phone to confirm the purity. He whispered, 300,000. The whole place was dead silent, the jade hammer hung in the air, and the host stared, 300,000 once. The thin monkey jumped violently, Where did you get the spirit stone? Mo Fan turned his palm, and the remaining power of the ancient elixir transformed into a pile of spirit stones, crystal clear, and spiritual energy soaring to the sky. Everyone gasped, and an old cultivator trembled, elixir and stone refinement. This, monster. 300,000, deal. The host dropped the hammer, and the fragments flew into Mo Fan's hand. He immediately plugged in his phone. There was a loud buzzing sound, the energy of his spiritual veins surged by 100%, the screen shook violently, and a new module was unlocked, the alchemy function. Green light erupted, the spiritual mist rolled in the hall, and Shen Qingqing's beautiful eyes shone, upgraded. This mobile phone can refine elixirs. Fu Han's men's faces were ashen, and the thin monkey murmured, Master Fu is going crazy. After the auction ended, Mo Fan stood up and left. The night wind mixed with blood hit his face. Fu Han roared outside and was approaching, block it. That beggar has the elixir, catch him alive. Two strong men followed quietly, blocking the back alley one after another. The wind of fists roared and the spiritual skills roared, Boy, hand over the clue to the elixir, Master Fu will spare your life. There was gurgling water in the alley, and the moonlight was like frost. Mo Fan stopped and turned around to scorn, Aunt, are you worthy? With a flick of his finger, the alchemy module was activated, and the residue turned into alchemy mist and sprayed out. The strong man inhaled it, his meridians were cut, and he screamed and fell to the ground in convulsions. Ah! The spiritual power backfired, spare your life. Their eyes turned from fierce to desperate, and their teeth trembled. You, who are you? Mo Fan looked down and sneered, Go back and tell Fu Han that the elixir market has changed hands from now on. His body flashed and the afterimage disappeared. He secretly sent a message on his mobile phone and contacted the intelligence network. Lin Yuyan's family had quietly arranged a counterattack. The first step is to cut off the supply of Fu Han's spiritual veins. But the engine roared outside the alley, the lights of the luxury cars were dazzling, and Fu Han came in person. He stepped out of the Bentley, his handsome face twisted, and his eyes were filled with murderous intent. Have you found out the details of this kid? How dare you touch my spiritual veins, a useless cultivator? The business war has begun, and I want you to live a life worse than death. When his subordinates reported the failure of following him, Fu Han punched the roof of the car, and the steel was dented. Send someone to dig up his ancestral grave. Intelligence from the ghost town, suppress it with all your strength. Under the night, the shadow of business war shrouded, the lights of Netherworld Pavilion flickered, Mo Fan's figure disappeared into the neon, the cultivator mobile phone buzzed, and new information popped up. Lin Yuyan, take the initiative to contact Qin Feng, the sword cultivator of the heavenly pledge. The gate to the ghost city is about to open. The neon lights pulsated like blood, piercing the night fog and illuminating the wide block outside the back alley of Yuming Pavilion. The roar of the engine stopped. Fu Han jumped from the roof of the Bentley, his handsome face twisted into a ghost. The spiritual pressure at the peak of Foundation building swept across like a frenzy, the neon signs on the street buzzed and trembled, and the debris fell and jingled. More than a dozen guards filed out, each in the early stage of the golden elixir. The magic weapon flashed with cold light, and the air was filled with the smell of burnt engine oil mixed with the sweetness of spiritual energy. They blocked the alley, and the passers-by looked sideways and whispered, Fu Han is here in person. That beggar is finished. Passers-by on the block whispered, and a middle-aged female cultivator covered her nose and retreated. I heard that this beggar bid for 300,000 yuan, and Fu Han wants to publicly crush him. The status is so different, pitiful. Several children from aristocratic families gathered around, their eyes full of ridicule, and someone laughed sinisterly. Master Fu's golden elixir guards came out. The beggar's spiritual power can't build a foundation. Kneel down and beg for mercy. Under the neon light, Mo Fan's figure slowly appeared. His clothes were stained with blood, and he stood with his hands behind his back, his mouth as cold as a knife. The spiritual pressure gathered around him, causing water on the ground to steam, and a heat wave hit his face. The corners of his clothes were fluttering, but they didn't move at all. Fu Han locked his eyes on the two twitching strong men in the alley. Their meridians were broken, red mist and white foam were spitting out from their mouths, and their eyes were as desperate as dead fish. The skinny monkey-like man knelt down and reported, with a trembling voice, Master Fu, that kid used Dan Mist to bite us back. He stole the mobile phone and the fragments. Fu Han crushed his fists, and there was a crisp sound of bones cracking. His handsome face was livid. A beggar-turned-casual cultivator dares to touch my Fu family's spiritual veins. We found out that his ancestral grave is in a slum on the outskirts of the city, and he dug it up to feed the dogs. Tonight, grab the mobile phone, the elixir, and strip them all. Boy, kneel down. Fu Han stepped forward with a ferocious smile, his jade pendant buzzing, spiritual fire wrapped around his palms, heat waves scorching the air, and the roadside newspapers spontaneously ignited and curled up. You beggar, you sneakily picked up the remains of the elixir, thinking you can change the world. Hand over your mobile phone, I'll spare you whole body. The guards laughed in agreement, and a strong man at the peak of his foundation took the lead. His iron fist was wrapped in spiritual flames and roared like a cannon, Master Fu, before I do it myself, I will destroy your meridians first. The wind of the fist tore through the night sky, the street lamp glass shattered, and the sharp edge went straight to Mo Fan's heart. Everyone gasped, and the female cultivator screamed, dead, dead. Fu Han's guard can smash rocks with one punch. Fu Han's men's eyes were wild, and the thin monkey smiled ferociously, beggars, remember the Fu family's iron fist. But Mo Fan's eyes did not change. His cultivation phone floated in the palm of his hand, the simple screen dim light flashed, the spiritual energy bar was fully loaded, and the alchemy module started suddenly. Buzz! The golden shavings from the remains of the ancient elixir were swirling, and the fragrance of the elixir poured out like a sea of wine. It overcame the stench of motor oil in the neighborhood and was instantly refined into a golden elixir mist, which was injected into his meridians. Boom! The spiritual energy in Mo Fan's body surged, and the golden elixir peaked like a volcano erupting. Spider webs cracked on the ground in the street, neon lights exploded, and sparks flew everywhere like fireworks. The strong man's iron fist was only an inch away from his chest, but he suddenly stopped, his face turned pale, and his pupils shrank into needles. This, the peak of the golden elixir. Impossible, you just established the foundation. His throat rolled, and the spiritual flame fist cracked inch by inch, hot blood spurted out, and he screamed and flew 10 feet away, smashing through the front of the Bentley. The steel twisted and screamed, and the engine flames shot into the sky. Mo Fan sneered contemptuously, and his voice was like thunder. Fu Han, do you think an ant is worthy of asking? He stepped forward, and the jade bricks on the ground shattered, and the spiritual pressure poured down on the whole street. The peak power of the golden elixir was as powerful as the sky. The guards' faces were twisted, and the magic weapon buzzed and shattered. Some people's knees weakened, and they knelt down and vomited blood. Spiritual pressure. Too strong, the bones will be broken. The thin monkey's eyes were filled with fear, and his teeth were chattering. Master Fu, run. This is not a human being, but an immortal descended from the earth. The bearded man, Li Jiubu with the iron arm, stared back. The phantom pain of his broken arm reappeared. The pill fog in the alley just now, he could have crushed us. Fu Han was furious and made a secret to summon the spiritual fire giant python. The red flame roared towards him, the heat wave burned the sky, and the neon lights on the street melted and dripped wax. Die. The Fu family's black fire will burn you to ashes. The giant python opened its mouth, the fishy wind hit its nostrils, and its teeth were like knives. But Mo Fan flicked his fingers, and the mobile phone projected the Dan mist barrier. With a flash of golden light, the giant python exploded upon contact. Fire rain splashed everywhere, burning the guards' robes. He screamed in succession, "Ah! The spiritual fire bites back. Master Fu's black fire bites his own people." The passers-by screamed and scattered, but stopped to watch. Their eyes turned from ridicule to admiration. An old cultivator stroked his beard and trembled. Oh! The power of the elixir, the flick of the finger to destroy the spirit. Fu Han is finished. Fu Han's face turned livid, his handsome face twitched, his spiritual power backfired and his meridians ached. He gritted his teeth and backed away. Boy, you can't beat the Fu family. The Chamber of Commerce has a monopoly on spiritual veins, and black market elixirs are everywhere. I will dig out the clues to your elixir sooner or later. Before he finished speaking, a red shadow flashed on the street, and Lin Yuyan came riding a flying sword. She had a picturesque face, long hair flying, a red skirt wrapped around her hot figure, the fragrance was fragrant and the sword energy was sharp. She waved her jade hand, and the jade slips of family information were projected into the air, and a three-dimensional light screen unfolded. Fu Han's black market activities were vividly visible, embezzling spiritual veins, secretly refining fake elixirs, forcibly buying and selling casual cultivators, and accumulating blood debts. The whole place was dead silent. The passers-by's eyes widened and their mouths opened in an O shape. The disciple of the first family fell to his knees with weak legs and murmured in a trembling voice, "A palm, knocking away the golden elixir guard." The beggar exploded to the peak of the golden elixir. This contrast, monster. The female cultivator rubbed her eyes and shouted, "The elixir is fragrant. When it enters my nose, my meridians are numb, and my foundation building bottleneck is loose." Fu Han's face turns green. Fu Hanjuan's face turned pale, and his jade shield trembled. "You are a useless beggar, why are you pretending to be an expert?" Lin Yuyan smiled slightly, raised her red lips, and walked straight to Mo Fan, leaning against her shoulders and looking eagerly. "Brother Mo, the family intelligence network has locked Fu Han's supply chain, cut off his spiritual veins, and will collapse within 3 days. At the elixir auction, my Lin family will take a stake and divide it into 50-50, how about it? Her voice was charming, but with a business-domineering tone. The children of the surrounding aristocratic families stared. Lin Yuyan took the initiative to show her kindness. This Mo Fan, the beggar counterattacked and became the overlord of the elixir. Mo Fan nodded, the blood from his palm dripped on the jade slip, the heavenly pledge module was secretly activated, preloaded on the mobile phone, the golden light flashed, and the contract was concluded. Deal. Fu Han, from now on, get out of the elixir market. Fu Han, your dirty deeds have been exposed. Lin Yuyan's voice was as clear as a bell, but with murderous intent. The jade slip light screen spread across the street, and passers-by gasped. The fake pills on the black market killed hundreds of cultivators. The Fu family is so vicious. A female cultivator's beautiful eyes sparkled. He stared at Mo Fan with admiration. The daughter of the Lin family showed up to help. This beggar, no, he is a master. The status has been reversed. Fu Han has become a street rat. Fu Han's pupils shrank suddenly, and his handsome face was as pale as paper. Lin Yuyan, your family dares to interfere. Where did the information come from? The neighborhood erupted in cheers, and passers-by gathered around Mo Fan with fanatical admiration in their eyes. Senior Mo is invincible. Jin Dan destroyed Fu Han's guard with one palm. The contrast is so refreshing. The middle-aged female cultivator burst into tears. Just now, I was laughing at the beggar, but now Fu Han is like a dog. His status is shaken, and the auction world is going to change. The old cultivator said kowtowed, overlord of the immortal pill, accept me as your disciple. Shen Qingqing emerged from the netherworld pavilion, with a rare charming smile on his cold and pretty face, and the black-robed hunter said, Brother Mo, the auction house is here to help, and the ghost town intelligence has been increased. The old man with a beard knelt down and trembled. Senior Mo, Iron Armley is wrong, spare my life. The light of the oath illuminated the whole street. Fu Han's bodyguards were stunned. Someone dropped the magic weapon and knelt down. Senior Mo, spare your life. Master Fu, we surrender. Fu Han's throat rolled, his handsome face was twisted like a ghost, and his spiritual pressure collapsed. He staggered back, and the remains of the Bentley were reflected in the flames. The red figure looked embarrassed. You, wait. The ancestor of the Fu family is in the late stage of the golden elixir. Digging your ancestral grave is not enough. The business war will lower the price. The whole city will ban your elixir. He jumped on another luxury car, the engine roared and fled, the tires screeched against the ground, leaving a trail of smoke and dust. Mo Fan scorned the night sky with his hands behind his hands, his cultivator phone buzzed, and a new message popped up. Qin Feng Jian cultivator contacted, heaven's pledge is prepared. Lin Yuyan came closer, the fragrance was fragrant in her nose, and her red lips whispered, Brother Mo, Fu Han Chamber of Commerce is about to launch a large-scale price war, dumping fake elixirs on the black market, and crushing all auctions. How to deal with it? Her beautiful eyes flashed with anticipation. Under the neon light, Mo Fan sneered, the green light of the mobile phone alchemy module flashed again, and the spiritual fog rolled on the streets, indicating a new round of business war frenzy. The mist wraps around the streets like a living thing, with neon fragments reflecting strange and colorful colors. The pungent mixture of red incense and burnt motor oil lingers in the air. Passers-by are still whispering and buzzing, chasing the disappearing figure with adoring eyes. Lin Yuyan's red skirt was flying, and the fragrant wind was filling her nostrils. She followed Mo Fan into the side door of Netherworld Pavilion. Shen Qingqing, in black robe, with a charming smile on her cold and pretty face, tapped her jade feet and pushed open the carved stone door. The lights inside the door are bright, but there is a different scene, a wide auction hall built of golden nanmo, the spiritual array is buzzing in the air, and the jade bricks on the wall are embedded with spiritual stones, emitting a blue pulsating light. But the atmosphere in the hall was solemn. More than a dozen casual cultivator buyers sat around the jade platform, whispering like insects. Some people's faces were ashen, and the fake elixir bottle rolled down in their hands, making a crisp and shattering sound, and the bitter smell of medicine filled the air. I heard that Fu Han's shit was selling fake elixirs on the black market. Foundation building cultivators drank it and exploded to death. 7 of them died in 3 days. Li Jiubu, a man with a beard and an iron-armed cultivator, his broken arm is now wrapped in gauze and his kneeling posture has not changed, reported with a trembling voice and fear in his eyes. The surrounding casual cultivators echoed, their faces contorted, elixir. What a joke. The Fu family has a monopoly on spiritual veins, and 90% of the elixirs on the market are fake. Who dares to believe the beggar's new product? If the auction house sells fake elixirs, we will destroy the place. A middle-aged female cultivator screamed, holding a jade in her hand. The card was crushed, and the fragments fell to the ground with a clang. Her spiritual pressure leaked slightly in the middle of foundation building, and the water on the desk was steaming. Mr. Shen, Fu Han has started a price war. A fake foundation building pill on the black market only costs 50,000 spirit stones. You, Netherworld Pavilion, still want to get the elixir? There is no way. Shen Qingqing frowned slightly, frost appeared on her cold face, her black robe sleeves waved, and the spirit wind picked up the broken elixir powder, smelling the pungent smell. Calm down, everyone, Fu Han's holiday elixir is harmful to people, Shen Qingqing, guarantee it is genuine. But the market is in chaos, high-end buyers have cancelled 80% of their subscriptions, and intelligence shows that Jin Elixir, the ancestor of the Fu family, personally ran the black market in the later period. Before she could finish her words, the doors suddenly opened, and the rumors spread by Fu Han spread like poisonous mist. A fat businessman-like casual cultivator stood up and slapped the table. Zhugan's face turned red, fake. There is a rumor all over the city that Mo Fan was a beggar who picked up the remains of the elixir and couldn't make the real elixir. Master Fu said personally that his mobile phone was stolen goods and the fragments of his spiritual veins had long been recovered by the Fu family. Chief Shen, if you contact the beggar, the auction house will ask for it. There was a wave of ridicule, the casual cultivators looked with disdain, and some people laughed sinisterly. The status is so different, the Fu family Chamber of Commerce's spiritual network covers the whole city. Mo Fan is a casual cultivator, and tests the elixir. Laughing to death, Fu Han is dumping it at a low price. We would rather buy fake elixirs to save our lives. Iron-armed Li Jibu's legs were weak, his broken arm was twitching in pain, he lowered his head and dared not speak. Lin Yuyan pursed her red lips tightly, displeasure flashed through her beautiful eyes, and her fragrant shoulders trembled slightly. Shen Qingqing gritted her silver teeth secretly, her cold figure stiffened slightly, the spiritual pressure in the hall was chaotic, the jade lamp swayed and lengthened the shadows, and the atmosphere of despair was overwhelming. Mo Fan stood with his hands behind his back, his tattered clothes still stained with blood, his peak golden elixir aura was hidden, and the corner of his mouth was as cold as a knife. He stepped forward slowly, his footsteps hitting the jade bricks, reverberating like thunder, the ground trembled slightly with every step, and the spiritual energy gathered quietly. The ridicule of the casual cultivators around him stopped and turned to suspicious glances. The middle-aged female cultivator rubbed her eyes. Here, is a beggar coming? The spiritual pressure is so heavy and the air is sweet. But the fat merchant rushed towards him with a ferocious smile. His peak foundation establishment spiritual fist was wrapped in black mist, and the fishy wind hit his face. Boy, get out of the auction house. Master Fu ordered that all your elixirs be destroyed. The wind ripped through the air, and sawdust flying from the table went straight to Mo Fan's face. The whole audience gasped, and iron-armed Li Jiubu stared and screamed, Senior Mo, be careful. This fat pig is Fu Han's hidden stake, and he can crush the early stage of the golden pill with one punch. The casual cultivators whispered, their eyes full of indifference, you deserve to die, the dream of the elixir is shattered. But Mo Fan's eyes did not change, the cultivation phone in the palm of his hand floated, the ancient screen's dim light flashed, and the spiritual vein extraction module started. Buzz. The spiritual veins under the hall awaken like a dragon, green light shoots out from the jade bricks, and flows into the mobile phone. The energy bar jumps wildly, 80%, 90%, 100%, full. The power of the city's earth veins poured out, the air buzzed like wind and thunder, the spiritual stones in the hall exploded, blue light splashed dazzlingly, and the fragrance of elixirs emerged like waves, overwhelming the stench of fake elixirs. Everyone's noses twitched and their meridians were itchy. The fat merchant's fist was only an inch away from his nose, but suddenly stiffened, his face turned pale, and his pupils shrank. The earth veins were sucked. This mobile phone sucked the spiritual veins of the whole city. Impossible. His spiritual power backfired, his meridians were cut off, he screamed and flew backwards, smashing through the jade platform, sawdust and blood mist exploded, he fell to the ground and twitched and spit out black foam, golden elixir, peak spiritual pressure, backfired on me to build the foundation. There was dead silence. The casual cultivator's eyes widened and his mouth was O-shaped. The middle-aged female cultivator knelt down with soft legs and murmured in a trembling voice, draining the earth veins in an instant, full of energy, beggar, no, master. I just laughed at him, now my meridians are loose, and the foundation building bottleneck is about to be broken. Iron-armed Li Jiubu kowtowed, his broken arm trembled, Senior Mo is so powerful, the fat pig is Fu Wanzhuang, spare your life. Lin Yuyan's beautiful eyes shone with admiration, and her red lips whispered, Brother Mo, your mobile phone is against the sky, and you can expect to refine elixirs in batches. Shen Qingqing's cold face was flushed, and her black eyes were eager, the energy of the earth's veins is enough to refine 10 elixirs. The high-end buyer information has been locked. The Lin family network, will push it again, and the family's financier will definitely come. Mo Fan glanced contemptuously, sneered, and flicked his mobile phone. The alchemy module was intertwined with green gold, and the remaining golden shavings of the ancient elixir were swirling, injecting energy from the earth's veins. The buzzing alchemy furnace was floating in the sky, and the high-temperature heat wave was scorching the face. The fragrance of the elixir was as mellow as wine, and the spiritual power inhaled by everyone skyrocketed. Someone broke through the foundation on the spot, and the spiritual light reached the top. The hall was filled with cheers, the elixir is done. The real thing, the golden light is restrained, and there is no impurity in the fake elixir. An elixir the size of a thumb slowly condensed, crystal clear, with a golden dragon swimming inside, and the spiritual energy filling the nostrils. Mo Fan threw it out, and Shen Qingqing caught it with her cold hands, trembling with cold fingers. Test the first one, start bidding at 500,000 spirit stones. But the casual cultivator hesitated, and the fat merchant Yu Dang laughed sinisterly, fake. Master Fu said that Mo Fan's Dan mist is an illusion. The ridicule returned, Mo Fan's eyes turned cold, and his mobile phone projected the Dan mist and wrapped the elixir to demonstrate. Golden the mist seeped into the meridians of a foundation-building casual cultivator. The spiritual energy in his body surged, and the sword energy was released. He cut off the gauze of iron arm Li Jiu's broken arm, and his face was cold with the sharp edge. The sword energy increased 3 times. The bottleneck was broken, and the foundation-building cultivator reached its peak. The casual cultivator stared in ecstasy, knelt down and kowtowed, true elixir. Senior Mo, accept me into the alliance, and pledge your loyalty to the death. The hall erupted in cheers, and there was a flood of support from the side. The middle-aged female cultivator burst into tears, her beautiful eyes admiring. The contrast is too harsh, first laugh at the beggar, and now the leader of the elixir alliance is ready. Fu Hanjiadan, get out. The old members of the iron arm Li Jioji fell to the ground, and the broken arm was painless. Leader Mo, all the iron arm Li Juman surrendered, the black market information is all out. The 3 casual cultivators knelt down and surrendered. We are the initial guards of Jin Dan, and we will fight with the leader in the business war. The small elixir alliance was just formed, and Shen Qingqing smiled and projected the buyer's light screen. The 3 major family sponsors were locked, the Lin family's intelligence network spread, and the high-end circle was shocked. Just when he was feeling refreshed, there was a shrill scream of swords outside the hall, and Qin Feng's figure flashed in like a ghost, with sword-like eyebrows and starry eyes. He was dressed in a green shirt and wrapped in sword energy. His sword intent at the peak of foundation building was like a frost front hitting his face, and the air condensed with frost. He cupped his hands and said in a sonorous voice, "Brother Mo, the message of the oath of heaven has been received, and I recommend myself as a sword cultivator to guard. Test the elixir's sword energy." Everyone gasped, and the casual cultivator stared. Qin Feng. The hidden sword cultivator, the sword-killing golden elixir is rumored. Mo Fan nodded, threw the elixir, and Qin Feng swallowed it. Next, the sword energy surged, and the power of the golden elixir exploded in the middle stage. Qingyi Xuan swung out his sword, cutting off the jade beams on the roof of the hall. The gravel was like rain, the roar was deafening, and the cold air was bone-piercing. The sword energy increased 5 times. Brother Mo's elixir is against the sky. The oath is fulfilled, Qin Feng's liver and brain will be wiped out. Lin Yuyan leaned on Mo's shoulder and smiled sweetly. "Leader, the alliance is stable, high-end buyers are flocking." Shen Qingqing's black eyes were seductive. "Ghost town information, this elixir is needed to cross the barrier, refine and reserve it." Mo Fan sneered, his cell phone buzzed, the earth veins were drawn again, 10 elixirs were condensed in turn, golden light shot into the sky, and the elixir fragrance filled the hall, spreading. The cultivators absorbed the spiritual power and knelt down in admiration. Elixir Overlord. Fu Han Chamber of Commerce, Ant Ears. But the engine roared outside the hall. Fu Han's low-price dumping convoy approached, the black market fake elixirs scattered like snowflakes on the streets, and the smell of the medicine wafted in. The faces of the casual cultivators changed slightly. The price war is coming, 50,000 fake elixirs each, grab the market. Amidst the cheers, Mo Fan's figure disappeared into the mist, and his appearance as the elixir overlord shocked the urban cultivation circle. Fu Han escaped into the car, with a handsome face and a vicious face, and dialed the family's secret line. "Ancestor, use the fragments of the ghost city to surround and suppress that kid with all your strength." The night wind roared, the spiritual energy gathered quietly, and the gate of the ghost city faintly opened. The engine outside the hall roared like a wild beast, and the stinky mist of the black market fake elixir convoy seeped into the wind, causing the lights in the hall to flicker. The casual cultivators' noses quivered, and the admiration on their faces turned to hesitation. Someone whispered, "Fu Han has 50,000 fake foundation elixirs. It's cheap and affordable. The price of the elixir starts at 500,000. If Alliance leader Mo is so good, who dares to bet?" The middle-aged female cultivator just knelt down in ecstasy. At this moment, her legs he softly sat back on the jade chair and murmured, "Black market dumping, all high-end buyers have fled. No matter how powerful the Lin family's intelligence is, they can't stop Fu Laozu's golden elixir late-stage spiritual pressure." Iron-armed Li Jiu's broken arm hurt, his forehead was dripping with cold sweat, and his posture was stiff. "Leader, the black market intelligence shows that Fu Han bribed 30% of the rogue cultivators. If the special auction is not successful, our alliance will be broken up at the beginning." Shen Qingqing's cold and pretty face was filled with frost, and her jade hands under the sleeves of her black robe held the map tightly, and she smiled reluctantly. "Everyone, the preheating for the first shot of the elixir has started, and the high-end light screen projection." Ms. Lin's intelligence locked the financial backers of the 3 major families, but Fu kept lowering the price, and the order was cancelled. 90%. She flicked her fingers, and a light curtain appeared on the jade wall. The buyer's list flashed, and the red cross mark was like blood. The hall was buzzing with taunts again. "The Beggars' Alliance. The whole city of the Fu family's spiritual network, the dream of elixir is broken." The air was freezing and biting. He said in a low voice, "Brother Mo, the intelligence of the assassins has been discovered. Fu Anzhuang has sneaked into the east gate of our town in 3 waves." Lin Yuyan's red dress was fragrant, her beautiful eyes scanned, her red lips lightly parted. Brother Mo, my Lin family intelligence network has wildly recommended that the third financial leader of the family is after returning to the cage. The fragments of the ghost city of Fu Han's ancestors have been moved, and there is a worry about the loss of spiritual veins. Mo Fan put his hands behind his hands, his torn clothes were stained with blood and reflected the light. The peak of the golden elixir was as powerful as a mountain. He curled his lips coldly, first suppress and then raise. Fu Han is an ant, the special elixir will start immediately. Shen Qingqing tapped her jade foot, and the spiritual array started humming. The shadow of the golden elixir furnace rose up from the jade platform in the hall. 10 elixirs were placed on the jade plate. The crystal golden dragon moved inwardly. The fragrance of the elixir was as mellow as wine. Everyone's meridians felt itchy after inhaling, and the spiritual power of the foundation building powder increased slightly. But the hall door was open, and the cold wind blew in the stench of fake elixirs. A group of rich buyers filed in, led by the pig-liver-faced merchant, who was none other than the fat pig Yudang. He smiled ferociously. Master Shen, Master Fu ordered fake elixirs, and dumped 50,000 fake elixirs to grab the market. Whoever buys it will have the Fu family's spiritual veins cut off. The buyers agreed, with contempt in their eyes. I heard that Mo Beggar's mobile phone is a stolen item, and the residue of the ancient elixir cannot be refined into the real thing. The ancestor of the Fu family has personally witnessed it. The middle-aged female cultivator was moved and stood up with weak legs. 50,000, I am building a bottleneck for the foundation, and the fake elixir will make do. Iron-armed Li Jiobu's face turned pale, his broken arm twitched, and he growled, Leader, they are the mole. The atmosphere reached a freezing point. Casual cultivators secretly looked at each other with admiration and turned to doubts. Lin Yuyan's shoulders trembled slightly and her beautiful eyes flashed with concern. Brother Mo, the intelligence shows that Fu bribed a member of Iron Arm Li's old department, and the poisonous elixir has been mixed in. Qin Feng's sword rang, the cold air exploded, and the buyer retreated. Sword cultivator. The Fu family is not afraid. Mo Fan's eyes did not change. The cultivator phone floated in the palm of his hand, the simple screen flashed with dim light, and the detection module exploded. Buzz. The earth veins are green and jade bricks are flowing, the energy bar of the mobile phone is jumping wildly, the air is sweet and greasy, the smell of fake elixir evaporates instantly, and the spiritual stones in the hall are all bright blue. The jade bottle in the hands of the fat pig Yudang rolled down, shattered and exposed black mud, and the poison was pungent. Poison elixir exposed. The whole audience gasped, and the middle-aged female cultivator widened her beautiful eyes and trembled. Mobile phone detection, Fu's fake elixir is all black. The meridians are loose, and my bottleneck is about to break. One of the old members of Iron Arm Li's army knelt down and kowtowed, Leader, please spare my life. Fu Han promised me the spiritual veins, I will poison you. All the information is here, the list of ghosts in the black market is here. Mo Fan flicked his fingers, projected the shadow of the black mist pill on his mobile phone, wrapped it in the poison pill and demonstrated. The black mud seeped out and repaired the meridians. He screamed and exploded, the blood mist sprayed, the stench was like a rotten corpse, everyone's face was pale, and the tips of their noses were nauseated. The fat pig Yudang fell to the ground with weak legs, his pig liver face twisted. Master Fu's fake elixir killed 7 lives, this has been exposed. Shen Qingqing sneered, her black eyes seduced, and her jade hand waved the spirit wind to roll up the poisonous residue. You have seen with your own eyes, Fu Han's poisonous elixir is dumped. The leader of Mo Alliance's elixir is real gold, the starting bid is 500,000, and the shooting starts. Lin Yuyan smiled sweetly with red lips, and the intelligence jade Jianfei flew rotating. The list of buyers on the light curtain flashed with green light. The financial backer of the Lin family is in place. The head of the Zhao family bid 600,000 yuan. Dead silence erupted in the hall, and the middle-aged female cultivator burst into tears and shouted wildly, the reversal is too cruel. First I doubted the elixir, but now I see the shady story of the poisonous elixir. Leader Mo's magic machine, the mobile phone is against the sky. The casual cultivator knelt down, and the spirit pressure surrendered, allegiance. Smash Fu's black market. The auction was hot, Qin Feng's sword intent was on the market, and the East Gate assassin sprang out. He swung his sword, and the frost blade ripped through the air. The cold air was biting, and the assassin's blood mist exploded. The screams echoed, Qin Jianxiu, the power of the middle stage of the golden elixir. Fu Wanzhu is dead. The buyer defected, and the pig-liver-faced merchant kowtowed, Leader Mo, if you give me channels, I will defect. 10 alchemy shops in the city, offer me. The first bid for the elixir was made. Rushing, 800,000, 1 million. The jade hammer came down, and the head of the Zhao family's voice trembled and spread across the light screen, 1.5 million. Record-breaking, ancient golden dragon pill, restrained and unimpeded. The whole audience cheered loudly, and waves of elixir fragrance hit their nostrils. The spiritual energy inhaled by everyone soared. Someone broke through on the spot, the spiritual light rushed to the top, and the sword energy leaked out and shaved his face. The elixir is effective, and the sword energy is tripled. Fu fake pill is gone. Mo Fan glanced with disdain, the phone in his palm buzzed, the God's Oath module flashed with green light, the ghosts in Iron Arm Legio's department swallowed the oath pill, his meridians burned, and he knelt down and shouted, I swear allegiance to the death. Black Market complete information, Fu Han's ancestor ghost the fragments of the city, the conspiracy to cut off the spiritual veins. Shen Qingqing stepped forward with a charming smile, wearing a black robe, and handed the jade slip with cold fingers, Leader Mo, here is the map of the ghost city enchantment. There is a huge amount of spiritual veins hidden in the ancient forbidden land. It takes immortals to travel through it. The body protection elixir can only be absorbed at the peak of the golden elixir. Intelligence hints that Ancestor Fu has moved the fragment to block your mobile phone's spiritual veins. Lin Yuyan leaned against Mo, her red dress fragrant, and her beautiful eyes were eager. Brother Mo, the 50-50 division is stable, the channels are expanding, the Lin family's spiritual vein network is working hard. But the Fu Alliance's intelligence is beginning to appear, and the three major families are shaken. Qin Feng held his hand and said with sword energy, oath to protect the law, Ghost City and his party, kill the ancestor with the sword. The second elixir sold for 2 million, breaking the sky-high price record again. The golden light in the halls soared to the sky, and the elixir mist demonstrated. The middle-aged female cultivator swallowed the elixir, the golden dragon wandered around in her body, the foundation-building spiritual pressure burst out, the jade chair shattered, sawdust flew, her beautiful eyes widened, tears trembled, the bottleneck is broken, the golden elixir is in the early stage. Leader Mo, I am the only one in the sky and the earth, Fu Han is an ant. The profile of the casual cultivator is like in the tide, Iron Arm Legio's broken arm was painless, and he fell to the ground. The alliance leader exposed the poisonous elixir, subdued us, and controlled all the elixir channels in the urban area. The 10 shops on the black market offered it, and it was useless to cut off the Fu family's supply. The rest of the fat pigs knelt down, 20 elixir shops defected, and millions of spiritual stones were made. The small alliance expanded, the golden elixir guards increased to 7, the spiritual pressure gathering hall buzzed, and the jade lamp stretched the shadow of worship. Mo Fan sneered, the batch alchemy module on his mobile phone was restarted, the green dragon roared, the third and fourth elixir was condensed, the gold shavings were flying, the high-temperature heat wave burned his face, and the fragrance of the elixir was mellow and intoxicating. Lin Yuyan said sweetly, information is pushed wildly, the fairy network is boiling, and the whole city's cultivation circles are swarming. Shen Qingqing projected a light screen, and the three major families' financial lords competed, 3 million. The Li family will swallow it all. The deal was hammered down, and the fake elixir outside the hall was the engine of the convoy stalled and the stench dissipated. The casual cultivators rushed out and destroyed the black market stalls, cheering like thunder, overlord of the elixir. Fu Han is yellow. Qin Feng's sword screamed to protect the law, the hall was sealed with frost, and the assassins' corpses were everywhere, bloody and pungent. The climax of the special event, all 10 elixirs were sold, the total price exceeded 20 million spiritual stones, the elixir channels in the urban area were fully controlled, and the alliance's power increased sharply. Mo Fan looked at the night sky with his hands behind his hands, and saw the latest news on his mobile phone. The headline on Xianwang: Mo Fan's elixir goes against the sky, Fu Duden is exposed. But the old troops of Iron Armly gasped and reported, Alliance leader, the foreshadowing is coming. Fu Han gathered the ancestors of the 3 Zhao, Li and Sun families, the alliance blocked the spiritual vein network, and the elixir supply chain was interrupted. The fragments of the ancestors' ghost city came in person to encircle the netherworld pavilion. Lin Yuyan pursed her red lips tightly, and her beautiful eyes flashed worriedly, Brother Mo, there is a big danger. Machine. Shen Qingqing's cold face froze slightly, and the dim light on the jade slip map pulsated. The ghost city's giant spiritual veins may solve the situation. Qin Feng Jiani Shuangfeng said, fight to the death. The dark wind outside the hall started again, the engine roared and the spiritual pressure was like a mountain, the undercurrent was surging, the residual heat of the auction has not dissipated, and a new battle has begun. The gloomy wind outside the hall was like howling ghosts and wolves, the roar of the engine mixed with the golden elixir spiritual pressure was like a mountain toppling, the jade bricks of the netherworld pavilion trembled violently, the lights lengthened the shadows on everyone's faces, and the nose of the casual cultivator smelled the pungent smell of blood and burning spiritual stones. Some people knelt down with weak legs and whispered in a trembling voice, the ancestors of the 3 families came in person. In the late stage of ancestor Fu Han's golden elixir, the spiritual vein network blocked the whole city, and the mobile phone was cut off. No matter how powerful the elixir is, alliance leader Mo will die of thirst. Iron-armed Li Jiobu's broken arm was in pain, his clothes were soaked in cold sweat, and his body was as stiff as a corpse. Alliance Lord, the black market information is wrong. The fragments of Ancestor Fu's ghost city have been melted into the spiritual vein hub. The supply has been cut off in the urban area, and the entire city's veins have dried up. 30 alchemy shops have been paralyzed instantly, and the 20 million spiritual stone receipts have been turned into waste. The middle-aged female cultivator's joy at the first golden elixir disappeared, and her beautiful eyes widened. Tears-stained, her jade hands clenched the armrests of the broken jade chair, the shards pierced the palms and blood dripped. I just broke through the realm, my spiritual veins are broken, my realm is regressing and building the foundation. Fu Alliance's price reduction announcement has been widely circulated on the fairy net, 10,000 fake elixirs. What a joke, the Beggars' Alliance is corrupt. Shen Qingqing's cool and pretty face was as pale as frost, and her jade hands under the sleeves of her black robe crushed the fragments of the jade slips of the map. The dim light pulsed like a dying heartbeat, and her charming smile was barely twisted. Everyone, the ghost city's giant spiritual veins may be solved, but Fu has blocked the path, and the residual heat of the special event has not dissipated. Buyers are canceling their subscriptions like a wave. The light screen projection flashed, and the names of the 3 major families' financial backers were densely covered with red crosses. Hums and taunts filtered in from outside the hall. Passing cultivators whispered like knives, Mo Fan's dream of elixir is shattered, Ancestor Fu personally conquered it, and the netherworld pavilion has become a cemetery. Lin, the fragrance of Yu Yan's red dress was slightly chaotic, her beautiful eyes were as worried as ink, and her fragrant shoulders were trembling as she leaned towards Mo Fan. Brother Mo, the Lin family's intelligence shows that there is a shadow of forced marriage within the family. But first, after this disaster, the spiritual pressure of the ancestors of the 3 families gathered together, Zhao, Li, and Sun allied themselves, the spiritual pulse hub. The power of your mobile phone has been cut off. Qin Feng Qingyi Xuan, the frost-edged sword intention revealed the biting cold air, his sword eyebrows were upturned, and his voice was as low as thunder. Brother Mo, my sword is at the east gate, but the 3 ancestors, the golden elixir, and the 7 foundation guards are like ants. The hall was dead silent and depressing, the aftertaste of the elixir was mixed with the omen of blood. Everyone's nostrils twitched as they smelled the aura of doom. The remaining fat pigs couldn't even kneel down, their pig liver faces were distorted and they cried, "Alliance leader, we are waiting for the elixir shop to be closed. Customers are swarming Fu's black market, 50,000 fake elixirs are being dumped, Fu Han wins." Mo Fan said with his hands behind his back. Standing, his tattered clothes and blood-stained reflections reflected the light. The golden elixir's peak aura was as strong as Yuan Tingyue's, the cold arc at the corners of his lips remained unchanged, the cultivation cell phone floated in the palm of his hand, and the dim light of the ancient screen dimmed. There was only a red line left in the energy bar, the green light of the earth veins was intermittent. The aura in the hall seemed to be drained, and the cracks in the jade bricks spread like spider webs. The casual cultivator roared in despair, "The charge of the mobile phone has been cut off. The batch module of the elixir is paralyzed. Ancestor Fu has the last laugh." The old members of Iron Arm Li's old army were livid, and their broken arms twitched and kowtowed. "Leader, withdraw. Open challenge to Fu's headquarters Spirit Vein Fortress. Suicide." In the brief silence, Mo Fan closed his eyes and crossed his legs on the jade platform. Everyone gathered around him like a god, and his heavy breathing could be heard as his heartbeat sounded like a war drum. The cell phone in his palm buzzed and hummed, and he looked inside the spiritual sea, 20 million spiritual stones stacked like a mountain, golden dragons coiled around the peak meridians of the golden elixir, gold fragments of the remaining power of the ancient elixir shone like stars, jade slips of information about 30 alchemy shops in the city floated, and the entire list of ghosts in the black market was marked with blood-red marks. Qin Feng's sword energy protected his body, and the frost-cold air condensed into ice and pricked his skin. He whispered, "Brother Mo, the harvest is rich and the realm is stable, but the crisis." Lin Yuyan's beautiful hand gently pressed his shoulder, the fragrant wind smelled like orchid, and the jade slip of information flew around and projected. 90% of customers unsubscribed. Fu lowered the price and announced the headline of FairyNet, "Elixir Bubble, Fake Pill Affordable." Shen Qingqing's cold eyes flashed with worry, and handed over the jade slip of the ghost city. "Alliance leader, the giant spiritual vein can be fully loaded on the mobile phone, but time travel requires." Mo Fan opened his eyes, his golden eyes swept the crowd like lightning, and his voice was as calm as water. "An inventory is enough. Fu Han, Ant, the spiritual vein is blocked. Openly challenge the headquarters, now." As soon as he finished speaking, the hall door burst open. The cold wind swept into the tsunami of spiritual pressure. The phantoms of the ancestors of the three families were projected onto the light screen. Fu Han's pig liver face was twisted with a sinister smile. The spiritual pressure in the late stage of the golden elixir was like a black cloud. "Don't be a beggar, the mobile phone's stolen goods are depleted, and the elixir dream is shattered. This young master personally conquers the peak of Foundation Building, headquarters. The fortress is waiting for you to die." The casual cultivator's face turned pale when he heard it, and the smell of wind stung his nose. Some people vomited bile. "The Ancestor Alliance, we are corrupt." Mo Fan stood up and stepped out of the hall with his hands behind his back. The energy bar on his phone flashed red. He sneered and activated the full-power spiritual pulse extraction module, buzzing. The simple screen bursts with green light, the hidden branch deep in the earth's veins awakens like a green dragon, the spiritual energy surges like a tsunami, the jade bricks outside the hall burst into green smoke, Fu seals the hub and trembles, the energy bar is full of green glow. Iron-armed Li Jiobu's eyes widened, his broken arm was painless and he trembled in ecstasy. Unbelievable. The mobile phone is blocked, the hidden veins are fully loaded, and Ancestor Fu's hub is leaking. The middle-aged female cultivator's beautiful eyes widened, with tears and runny nose. "First, I stopped charging in despair, and now I'm fully loaded, it's divine calculation." Alliance leader Mo Fan flicked his fingers, and the batch elixir refining module on his mobile phone was activated. The golden elixir furnace rose into the sky, and the high-temperature heat wave burned his face like lava. Shen Qingqing's cool and pretty face flushed, her black eyes seductively smiled, 100 airdrops. The price war is reversed. Lin Yuyan's red lips cried out, her beautiful eyes were eager, and the intelligence network pushed the fairy network wildly. Brother Mo, the Lin family is paralyzed. Fu logistics, the three major families' fleets have a flat tire, the spiritual formation has failed, and the fake elixirs are unsaleable. Qin Feng's sword screamed, and the sword energy escorted the airdrop. The cold light tore into the night sky, and hundreds of elixirs hit the urban elixir shop like a meteor shower. Boom. The elixir mist exploded, and the golden light shot into the sky. Customers swarmed and screamed, elixir airdrop. 100,000 pills, cheap as hell, get rid of the fake elixir. The remaining fat pigs rushed out to witness it, and knelt down with twisted pig liver faces. Customers defected. The black market fleet was paralyzed, the fake elixir hit the ground and black mud spattered, and the smell filled the sky. Our elixir shop is resurrected. Mo Fan looked at the night sky with his hands behind his hands. The latest news on the cultivation cell phone, the immortal network is boiling, the first filming trailer pops up, and the eyes of the whole city's cultivation circle are gathered. Qin Feng's sword sounds to protect the law, Lin Yuyan's information is pushed wildly, Shen Qingqing sneers and seals the hall, the elixir is shot for the first time, and it is about to overturn the urban structure. The cheers in the hall were thunderous, but mixed with whispers of conspiracy outside the streets, the fragments of Fu Han's ancestors' ghost town, and the undercurrent surging. Mo Fan did not dodge or dodge, and the elixir in his palm burst out. The golden dragon restrained itself and swam into Fu Han's meridians, and boom. Fu Han's pig liver face turned purple, the golden dragon inside his body roared and exploded, blood mist and golden light splashed hundreds of feet, hot and bloody rain fell like a rotting corpse exploding, the stumps and internal organs hit the ground and splashed pus, and the stench reached the sky. The rest of the Fu army in the audience gasped, their legs were weak and they knelt down. Some people vomited blood and shouted wildly, young master exploded. The elixir counterattack, the foundation is as high as paper, the leader Mo is the only one in heaven and earth. The shadows of the ancestors of the three families trembled, and the spiritual pressure of the late stage of the golden elixir escaped. Fleeing, the projection shattered and buzzed, Fu Han is dead, don't beg the evildoer. Qin Feng's sword energy was everywhere, and the frost blade beheaded Fu guards. The blood mist reverberated and the cold air was biting. Lin Yuyan's intelligence jade slips whirled and paralyzed the fortress formation, and firelight shot into the sky and sawdust flew. Mo Fan coldly swept the remnants, the blue light of the Oath of Heaven module on his mobile phone flashed, and the oath pills were airdropped like rain. Fu Danpu's steward swallowed the pills, his meridians were burning, and he knelt down and shouted in submission, allegiance. The headquarters spiritual vein hub is presented, and all 40 channels are under full control. Iron-armed Li Jiubu waved his broken arm in ecstasy, the alliance leader has subdued Fu Can, and the temporary sect has been formed. The golden elixir guards have been increased to 15, and the city is dominated. The whole city's spiritual vein network is reopened. Shen Qingqing stepped forward in black robes and touched the jade slip with cold fingers, the road to the ghost city is smooth, and the giant spiritual veins are waiting to be drawn. The sight of the casual cultivator was like a flood, and the middle-aged female cultivator kowtowed in tears, first seal the desperate situation, drop hundreds of pills to reverse, and kill Fu Han, the sex overlord. The remaining gang members of the Fat Pig repeatedly knocked, 50 million in spiritual stones, monopoly on the elixir market. The first victory in the business war, the status was reversed, the whole city flocked to the Netherworld Pavilion, the fragrance of red flowers and the waves hit the nostrils, and the cheers shook the sky. But Lin Yuyan's shoulders were close to Mo Fan's, her red skirt trembled slightly, her beautiful eyes flashed with shadows, her red lips parted softly and whispered, Brother Mo, the Lin family's conspiracy to force a marriage has emerged. The family wants to use your power to control elixir channels through marriage, and to fight against Fu Can's forces for the Jedi. I propose, to send a message to the sky. We vow to be together forever. Before he finished speaking, the dark wind rose again outside the hall, black fog rolled in the direction of the ghost city, Shenqingqing's jade slip flashed wildly, crises were coming, the true form of the ancestors of the three families was approaching, the spiritual pressure was like a mountain, the engine roared and the ghosts cried, the undercurrent was full of murderous intent. Outside the netherworld pavilion, the night wind was like thousands of ghosts crying together, sharp and harsh, cutting through the city's boiling cheers. The black mist in the direction of the ghost town rolled like an ink dragon, faintly revealing the smell of rotting tomb soil, mixed with the spiritual pressure of the late stage of the golden elixir. The faces of the new members of the Immortal Pill Alliance, who had been swarming and kowtowing just now, suddenly solidified with ecstasy. Some people's noses quivered and smelled the corpse odor seeping out of the black mist. Their legs went limp and they sat down, trembling with low voices, the true form of the three ancestors. Jin Dan later joined forces. Although Fu Han is dead, the remnants of the party have sent a message to the Cultivation family. The spiritual pressure of the three lines of Zhao, Li, and Sun has converged. The sect has just been established, and it will turn into ashes immediately. Iron-armed Li Jiu, the dull pain in his severed arm returned, and the cold sweat drenched the sleeves of his robe. He threw himself to the ground and kowtowed like thunder. His livid face was distorted. Alliance leader, 50 million spiritual stones are piled in the warehouse, 40 channels are under control, and the guards are gathering 15 golden elixirs to build the foundation. But the ancestors' black mist has blocked the road, and no matter how full the hidden veins of the mobile phone are, they can't stop the third stage encirclement and suppression. Withdraw, the road to the ghost city is cut off, and the sect's dream is shattered. The lights in the hall swayed and elongated the shadows of everyone, and the aftertaste of the elixir was diluted by the black mist and turned into a disgusting musty smell. The joy of the middle-aged female cultivator who just shed tears and kowtowed disappeared, her beautiful eyes were round and bloodshot, her jade hands clenched the armrests of the broken chair, and fresh blood dripped from the fingers to the jade platform. The snapping sound was like a heartbeat counting down in the dead silence. My realm is firm. The spiritual pressure is approaching, the meridians are reversed and the foundation building is reversed, and the elixir market is monopolized. Laughter. Then, the engine of the three ancestors roared for nearly 3 miles, the black mist swallowed the street lights, and the stragglers died. The fat pig Yudang's face turned as white as paper, and he knelt down and howled with runny nose, his fat body trembled and hit the ground with a thud. Leader, Gu customers were still queuing up outside the door to grab the elixir, but Fu Can's gangsters were exposed, half of the 40 channels rebelled, the elixir transport convoy had a flat tire and was stuck in black mud, and the road was flooded with stinky corpses. The prototype of our sect collapsed in an instant. Mo Fan stood in the center of the jade platform with his hands behind his back, hunting in ragged clothes. The light in the palm of his cultivator mobile phone shimmered slightly. The energy bar was full of green light but could not reflect the calmness of the abyss of his golden eyes. The peak momentum of the golden elixir around him was like an abyss standing still, but it could not suppress the tsunami of spiritual pressure outside the hall. The jade bricks buzzed and cracks spread like spider webs. The broken porcelain of the chandelier on the ceiling fell, scratching the casual cultivator's cheeks with blood stains. The scent of Lin Yuyan's red dress was slightly chaotic, and the shadows of her beautiful eyes were smeared like ink. Her fragrant shoulders were close to Mo Fan's arm, and her jade hands gently pressed on the jade slip of information. The projection light screen flashed blood red, Lin family's secret letter, Yuyan will marry Fu Can quickly. Using the channel of Mo Shi to control the elixir, Fu Han's descendant grandson will preside over the marriage. She bit the blood on her red lips, and her voice trembled like a candle in the wind, Brother Mo. The family has colluded with Fu Han for a long time. The forced marriage is not a shadow, but an iron order. Grand Ancestor Sun Jindan personally witnessed the marriage contract in the later period. He wants to swallow up my Lin family's intelligence network and join forces with the three lines to suppress your sect. If I don't obey, the family will the spiritual veins were cut off, and all the casual cultivators of the Lin family gasped. Someone smelled the blood on her palm, and yelled with wide eyes, "The traitor of the Lin family." The intelligence cripple Fu logistics is an illusion, forcing the marriage to control the leader's channels. The sect is suffering from internal and external troubles, we are doomed. Qin Feng was hunting in his green shirt. The frost-edged sword intent revealed the biting cold air and condensed the frost in the hull. His sword eyebrows stood up, and the veins in the jade hand holding the sword bulged. He spoke in a low voice like thunder, "Brother Mo, the conspiracy of the Lin family has emerged. The black mist of the three ancestors has swallowed the east gate. I am a corner of the sword town, but the three of them joined forces in the later stage of the golden elixir, and the foundation building guards were like ants, and the 15 golden elixirs of the sect were unstoppable." Shen Qingqing's jade hands under the sleeves of her black robe clenched the ghost city jade slip, the faint light pulsed like a dying gasp, and her cold and pretty face was pale and flushed with illness. The charming eyes barely seduced the soul, and the voice was hoarse and harsh. "Leader, the ghost city barrier is about to open, containing the opportunity for ancient ascension. The giant spiritual vein can be fully loaded with 10 times the energy of a mobile phone, but the black fog seals the road, and the three ancestors personally guard the path. Traveling through it requires extraordinary talent. If you don't break in tonight, the sect will be wiped out." The engine outside the hall roared like thunder, the golden elixir in the black fog hit the ground like a hammer, the street lights exploded and sparks flew, the customers screamed and ran away and were trampled to death, and the stench was mixed with the smell of corpses and burnt earth. The cold arc at the corner of Mo Fan's lips remained unchanged, and his golden pupils swept away the crowd like electricity cutting through the fog. He activated the sect module on his mobile phone with a snap of his fingers. The simple screen flashed with green light, and the spiritual vein network projected the entire city's veins. The hidden branches pulsated slightly like a green dragon awakening, but were eroded red by the black mist of the three ancestors. Threads were densely covered, and the buzzing warning was like a ghost crying, "Acquire disciples and expand your power, now." As soon as he finished speaking, the Tiandao oath pill dropped like rain from the mobile phone, and the crystal golden pill smashed into the palm of the casual cultivator. The swallower's meridians were surrounded by golden dragons, and the spiritual power surged to the peak of foundation building. He breathed in the pill with a heavy breath. The fog was intoxicating and fragrant, and some people on the scene were so inspired that they kowtowed in ecstasy, "Brother of the Alliance. The oath will be sworn forever, and we will die." Iron Arm Li Jiobu waved his broken arm painlessly, and after swallowing the pill, the iron arm regenerated and his flesh and blood squirmed and made a tingling sound, and he roared, "The sect has expanded to 50 chapters. Xiao, the channel is under stable control, but the spiritual pressure of the three ancestors has reached nearly a mile, and the black mist swallows the pavilion. No matter how many oaths are made, it can't stop it. The middle-aged female cultivator's pill-swallowing realm has risen, but her beautiful eyes are filled with tears, it's gaining momentum. But the Lin family's inner ghost, Fu Can, is about to attack." At this moment, the wind outside the pavilion exploded, and 100 foundation-building monks from Fu Han's remnant party came out in black robes with their faces covered. Their spiritual pressure was like howling wolves, holding fake erysipelas formation jade talismans, and the green poisonous mist spurted out and corroded the jade bricks, making a hissing sound. The harsh sound was like 10,000 snakes biting the bones, and the stench was like feces and urine mixed with blood, which rushed straight into the nose. Someone vomited bile. Fu can counterattack. Sun Laozu left the order, the poisonous formation sealed the pavilion, the ghost Lin family's intelligence assisted, and the sect's 50 newcomers instantly. Suddenly he was poisoned and fell to the ground. The fat pig's body trembled and he crawled on his knees, his face twisted and howling. "Alliance leader, the poisonous mist invaded, the meridians burned like fire, the elixir channel was broken, and the spiritual stone warehouse burned into the sky." Qin Feng sword was unsheathed, and the cold light ripped through the night sky and killed 10 people. The blood mist echoed and the cold air stung the skin, but the sword energy was sluggish when surrounded by the poisonous formation. He roared, Brother Mo, there are hundreds of enemies, the poisonous formation can defeat the sword, and the sect is in danger. Mo Fan remained calm, and the spiritual vein trap module on his mobile phone exploded, full of green energy bar running wildly. The whole city's hidden veins rose up like green dragons, the underground green light surged like a tsunami, the jade bricks outside the pavilion burst into smoke, the earth veins under Fu Can's foundation reversed, spiritual energy poured into the meridians and exploded, poof. Flesh and blood exploded like rotten melons, the hot stumps hit the ground and splattered with pus, and the stench of rotten flesh made Xian Ding retching and receding. Iron Arm Li's eyes widened, his broken arm regenerated and he roared in ecstasy, annihilate all traps. Hidden veins backfired, hundreds of Fu Zai exploded with blood, and Grand Ancestor Sun's decree was turned into waste paper. Shen Qingqing's cold eyes flashed with heat, and the hunter in black robe stepped forward, touching the jade slip with his jade fingers. Ghost, the city road is temporarily open, but the engine of the three ancestors has stopped in front of the pavilion, and the black fog swallows the sky. The middle-aged female cultivator sucked blood from her nose, and her beautiful eyes widened. The desperate situation was first counterattacked, and the trap was reversed, but the expansion of the sect was not stable. The Lin family was forced to marry, and the three ancestors came in person. The depression was relieved slightly, but the dark clouds were pressing deeper. Lin Yuyan's shoulders were trembling, and her beautiful eyes were misty. She pulled Mo Fan into the side hall, her red dress rustling on the floor, the fragrant breeze mixed with salty tears, her jade hand held his arm, her fingertips were cold and bone-chilling. Brother Mo, the Lin family colluded with Fu Han for no reason. The family is forced to marry the Grand Ancestor Sun Alliance, and they want to use your elixir to control the whole city. My heart belongs only to you. Her red lips opened slightly, her delicate body leaned forward, the soft fragrance pressed against his chest, her heart beat like a deer bumping against each other, her charming eyes whispered seductively, the oath of heaven is not expedient, but sincere. We will always be of one mind, join forces to break into the ghost city, and kill the three ancestors. Outside the side hall, the casual cultivators were listening with heavy breathing, and someone murmured in shock, the heroine confesses. But the crisis continues unabated, the black mist of the three ancestors has filled the top of the pavilion. Mo Fan's golden eyes flashed slightly, but he heard that the spiritual pressure outside the hall was like a mountain avalanche. After the engine was turned off, the real bodies of the three ancestors came through the mist. Ancestor Zhao was as skinny as Chai Jin Dan. The late-stage spiritual pressure black light exploded, and the ground collapsed into a pit 100 feet deep, with gravel flying and pungent dust. Ancestor Li's fat body was burned with spiritual fire, and the heat wave roasted his face like lava. Ancestor Sun's pig liver face was twisted with a sinister smile, and green mist spewed out from the poison array jade talisman. The three of them joined forces and roared, "Don't beggar!" Fu Han summoned the 10 major clans of cultivation to encircle and suppress them. The 50 new members of the sect are like ants, kneeling down to offer elixir mobile phones, spare your life. The sect is in danger, no matter how good the mobile phone trap is, it can't stop the wave of encirclement and suppression. Qin Feng sword buzzed, and the cold air pierced his skin, saying in a low voice, "Brother Mo, the oath of heaven, the only way out." Shen Qingqing's jade slip flashed wildly, and her cold and pretty face twisted. The ghost city barrier is about to open, and the opportunity to ascend is waiting, but the black fog swallows the way, and the three ancestors are blocking the way. The whole pavilion was dead silent, the black mist penetrated like ink stained with blood, and the smell of rotting tomb soil was pungent. Everyone's nostrils were twitching to smell the omen of doom. The remaining fat pigs were crying. Encirclement and suppression order made headlines on the fairy net, the engines of the convoys of the 10 major families roared, black clouds pressed down on the city, and the sect became yellow. Lin Yu held Mo Fan's hand tightly, her red skirt trembled slightly, and her beautiful eyes were desperate. Eagerly, "Pledge, Brother Mo. Never betray." Mo Fan put his hands behind his hands, the cold arc at the corners of his lips deepened, the blue light of the Tiandao module on his mobile phone flashed faintly, and the golden elixir around him was at its peak, like Tianhan's contempt, but it could not suppress the tsunami of spiritual pressure from the three ancestors. The jade tiles on the top of the pavilion were shattered and sparks flew everywhere. The crisis was like a tide, and the only way out was the Tiandao oath. The black mist in the pavilion seeped into the cracks like a living thing, and the smell of rotting tomb earth mixed with rust and blood rushed straight into the nose. The candles made a popping sound and were almost extinguished by the cold wind, casting twisted ghost shadows of everyone. The real bodies of the three ancestors stood on the jade bricks in front of the pavilion. Ancestor Zhao's skinny fists flashed with black light. Every blow hit the ground like a thunder explosion. The ground collapsed into a deep pit and gravel flew like a rain of arrows. It pierced the newcomer's cheek and left bloody marks. The pungent dust mixed with blood hitting the face. Grand Ancestor Li's fat body burned to the sky, the heat wave roasted his face like rolling lava, the burnt sleeves of his robes gave off a choking smell that made people cough repeatedly. Grand Ancestor Sun's pig liver face twisted with a ferocious smile, the poison-array jade talisman's green mist spurted out, hissing and biting the bones. The meridians in the pavilion were burning and painful like gnawing by thousands of ants. Eat, someone has incontinence of feces and urine, and the smell of yellow and turbid urine fills the air. He sits down with limp legs and kowtows like a defeated dog whining, "Ancestor, spare your life. Don't beg for the elixir." The 50 newcomers of the sect kneel down. The regenerated flesh of iron-armed Li's broken arm is still squirming and rattling, and his face is ashen. Pang Shabai twisted, his nose quivered and smelled the rotten smell of green mist, and he roared and trembled. The engines of the convoys of the 10 major families are approaching, black clouds are pressing down on the city like a tsunami of spiritual pressure, the alliance leader's golden elixir is at its peak, the mobile phone trap has exhausted its energy, and the sect is wiped out. The fragrance of Lin Yuyan's red dress has been tainted by the black mist, and her beautiful eyes are hazy with despair and eagerness. She holds Mo Fan's arm tightly with her delicate hands, her fingertips are as cold as falling into an ice cave, her fragrant shoulders are trembling and her heartbeat is beating against her chest. She whispers hoarsely and weeping, "Brother Mo. We have made an oath of heaven to be together forever. Grandpa's son is forced to marry by his family, and he is the assistant of the intelligence network. I, Lin Yuyan, am the only one who will fight back in this life. I will break into the ghost city and share my spiritual veins, share the prophets, and kill the three ancestors." The engines of the 10 major family fleets outside the hall roared like thousands of beasts. In the black mist, 30 lines of spiritual pressure in the middle and late stages of the golden elixir hit the roof like a hammer. The jade tiles on the roof of the pavilion were shattered and sparks were flying. The corpses of customers were trampled on and the bloody smell filled the sky. The new middle-aged female cultivator has regained the realm of swallowing pills, but her meridians have reversed. Her beautiful eyes are bloodshot and round. Her jade hands are broken and the blood is dripping on the chair like a countdown. Oath. What a joke. The oath of heaven has backfired on the demons in the heart. In the late stage of the golden elixir, the three ancestors joined forces. Grandpa's son, with his pig liver face and a sinister smile, has been staring at the Lin family's intelligence. If our oath is fulfilled, the whole sect will be wiped out faster. The fat pig's body trembled, his face was distorted, and his nose was dripping with tears. Leader, retreat. The dark fog in the ghost city has blocked the road, and the talented person has made an oath to tie us up. The 10 major families' spiritual fortresses are coming, and we are like ants. Mo Fan stood on the jade platform with his hands behind his back, hunting in tattered clothes. His golden eyes calmly swept through the crowd like electricity cutting through the mist. The golden elixir around him was at its peak, but he could not suppress the tsunami spiritual pressure outside the hall. The jade bricks buzzed and cracked like a spider web. The cultivation cell phone in his palm shimmered slightly, and the full green energy bar reflected the dense red lines of the city's veins, but his heart was like a game of thousands of needles. The oath of heaven, the supreme contract of the fairy network. One word became an iron law, betrayal was the curse of thunder, and the Lin Yuyan family conspiracy emerged, and if the intelligence network was false, the oath was a dead end, but the giant spirit vein in the ghost city 10 times the energy. The chance of ascension is just around the corner. The three ancestors join forces in the late stage of golden elixir. No matter how many 50 newcomers of the sect are building the foundation, they can't stop the 10 major families from encircling and suppressing the 30 golden elixirs. The mobile phone trap consumes 80% of the energy. The only way to break the situation is to use her Lin family's information, join forces with Qin Feng and Shenqingqing, and swear an alliance. The three of them break through the ghost town and bite back the three ancestors. The cold arc at the corner of his lips deepened, and he thought, sacrifice half of the channels, expand the sect and leave Iron Armly to guard it, strategically arrange the tributaries of the hidden veins to lure the enemy, fight back with all the strength, return from the ghost town, monopolize the elixir market, and be the only one in the city. The three ancestors are ants, and the dust of the 10 major families. Mo Fan's voice fell like thunder and was silenced. He activated the Tiandao module of his mobile phone with a snap of his fingers. The green light on the simple screen flashed dazzlingly, and the golden eyes locked Lin Yuyan. We make a pledge. Let's go together. Ghost City, sharing giant spiritual veins, sharing profits, never betraying. As soon as he finished speaking, the shadow of the golden wheel of heaven projected on the mobile phone appeared, the golden light in the hall exploded like the sun, the candles were extinguished, and the heat wave hit their faces, and everyone breathed heavily. Smelling the mellow oath scent mixed with the iron smell of blood oath again, Lin Yuyan bit her red lips and bit the blood, her beautiful eyes shone with tears and her jade hand covered Mo Fan's palm. God is above me, I, Lin Yuyan, swear. The golden will hum to absorb the oath. The golden rings around the two people intertwined and shone dazzlingly, the spiritual pressure surged like a dragon's roar, the red skirt hunting fragrance exploded and was mixed with Dan mist intoxicatingly, the golden light of the oath rushed to the top of the pavilion and tore through the black mist, and the crackling thunder exploded the spiritual pressure of the three ancestors. Iron Arm Lee's eyes widened, the flesh of his severed arm squirmed and stopped, and he roared in ecstasy like muffled thunder, the oath of heaven is fulfilled. The golden ring shocked the three ancestors, the black fog retreated 3 feet, Sun Patriarch's pig liver face twisted and retreated, the Lin family of the intelligence network is sincere. The middle-aged female cultivator's beautiful eyes were round and bloodshot, and she breathed the golden light in her nose. The fragrance was intoxicating, and her jade hands let go of the broken chair and knocked wildly, the alliance leader's plan. I swear to bind the Lin family, control all channels, and the sect will never be destroyed. The fat pig's remaining party pig liver's face turned pale and ecstatic, and the fat trembled and hit the ground with a thud. The golden light is like a punishment from heaven, the engines of the 10 major families' fleets are stagnant, and the spiritual pressure tsunami weakens. Qin Feng's sharp sword buzzed out of its sheath, and the cold air pricked his skin like a knife. The blue veins on his eyebrows stood up, and he said in a low voice like thunder, Brother Mo, I will escort you to death. Sword down the road to the ghost city, and break into the core of the barrier. Shenqingqing, black-robed hunter, stepped forward, her cold and pretty face was pale and flushed, the ghost city's jade slip was pinched between her jade fingers, the ghostly light pulsed wildly, and she handed out the crystal key, which was as blue as a will-o'-the-wisp, her voice was hoarse and harsh but eager, Alliance leader, I present the key to the edge of the barrier. The tributaries of the hidden veins in the black fog can be drilled. You need a mobile phone to break the restriction. Information from the back of our town. Mo Fan's golden eyes flashed slightly, and he took the key and flicked the spiritual vein module on his mobile phone to activate. The green dragon in the hidden veins in the city awakened, the jade wall behind the pavilion exploded and steamed, the hidden tributaries roared out like an underground river, and the fragrance of the spiritual veins came out of the rotten black mist. 3 people formed a team, Mo Fan's mobile phone projected on his palm to crack the light screen, Shenqingqing's jade slips assisted, Qin Feng's sword shredded the fog with cold light in front, Lin Yuyan's red dress and the fragrant wind protected her sides, the golden ring oath shone and shocked the newcomers outside the pavilion, and kowtowed in ecstasy, leader of the alliance breaks out. Leave me, Iron Arm Li Jinzong, to defend the channel. Iron Arm Li broken arm brandished the flesh and blood thorn, breathed heavily and smelled the scent of spiritual veins, and roared, 10 major families are invading, the hidden vein trap will be opened again, and the flesh and blood rain is waiting. At the moment of breaking through, the black mist was as sharp as the wails of thousands of ghosts, and the real bodies of the 3 ancestors roared and chased after them. Ancestor Zhao's black light fist smashed into the entrance of the tributary, and the deep pit collapsed, gravel splashed and pricked the skin with blood. Ancestor Sun's green mist poison array hissed and bitten the bones, and the rotten stench choked the nose. Ancestor Li's spiritual fire heat wave burned his back as if it was burning. But the oath of the golden ring flourished, and the golden light cut through the fog like a heavenly sword. The spiritual pressure of the 3 ancestors backfired in the meridians, and the pig-liver-faced ancestor Sun retreated with a low roar. Heaven's oath to protect the body, the road to the ghost city cannot be opened. The engines of the convoys of the 10 major families roared and approached, sparks flying into the sky with black smoke, but the green light of the hidden veins blocked the buzzing and sluggish. The new middle-aged female cultivator's beautiful eyes were filled with tears. It's reversed. The golden light of the oath shocks the enemy, the real body of the 3 ancestors is frozen, and the alliance leader's conspiracy is in sight. Deep in the tributary, the underground green light pulses like a heartbeat. The smell of wet and cold earth mixed with the mellow fragrance of the spiritual veins is assailing the nose, and the moss on the wall is slippery and cold and stings the hand. The game in Mo fans' heart resumes. Fu Han's remnant party has been annihilated in traps. Intelligence shows that Sun Laozu's legacy may be on the verge of an ambush. A preliminary exploration of the ghost city barrier. The restriction is like thousands of needles piercing the soul. The mobile phone energy consumption is 70%. Qin Feng's sword intention is sacrificed to open the way. Lin Yuyan's intelligence escorts, and the elixir is airdropped to kill. The black mist rolled in front, and suddenly a dark wind burst. 30 masked foundation builders from Fu Han's remnant party rushed out. They were Sun Laozu's pig-liver-faced secret training warriors, holding fake erysipelas charms. Green mist spewed out, and the stench of hissing rotting bones was like feces and urine mixed with blood. The leading pig-faced monk smiled ferociously. The leader of the alliance is in ambush. Sun Laozu has ordered that the poison array seal the tributaries and capture Lin Yuyan. Forced to surrender. Qin Feng sword slashed through the night with cold light, and the blood mist echoed and stung the skin. He killed 10 people but was surrounded by green mist. His sword energy was sluggish, and he shouted, "Brother Mo, the poison defeats the sword, the hostility is fierce." Lin Yuyan's red dress was slightly messy, her beautiful eyes were gleaming with fear, and she pressed the jade slip with her jade hand. Fu can secretly ambush. Sun Laozu pig liver joins forces. The cold arc at the corners of Mo Fan's lips remained unchanged, his golden eyes were as contemptuous as looking down at ants, and his thoughts were outsmarted. The elixir was airdropped, and the oath was shocked by the golden light. With a flick of the finger, the sect module of the mobile phone exploded with green light, and the crystal elixir was dropped like rain, smashing into the palm of Fu Can and forcing him to swallow it. The golden dragon in the meridians circled and the spiritual power surged, but it backfired with the poison array. The flesh and blood exploded like rotten melons, and the hot stumps were smashed. The wall was splattered with pus and putrid smell. The leading pig-faced monk's eyes widened. He smelled the fragrance of elixir on the tip of his nose and turned to blood. He roared, "Elixir, backlash! Grandmaster Sun's order!" The blood from the explosion splashed on the ground and splashed on Qin Feng's green shirt, which was hot and pungent to the nose. The golden oath ring flourished, and the golden light was like thunder from the sky. The eardrums of the 3 ancestors were buzzing. Zhao, Li, and Sun all retreated with their skinny fat bodies and pig liver faces. The black mist retreated 3 feet. The pig liver Sun ancestors roared in fear. The golden light of the oath is punished by heaven. Fu can secretly ambush and destroy them all. Don't beg. The beggar's mobile phone artifact, the opportunity of the ghost town. The sparks of the 10 major family convoys were delayed, and the tsunami of spiritual pressure in the middle and late stages of the golden elixir weakened. Lin Yuyan, the newcomer, heard the golden light and kowtowed in ecstasy, "Kill the ambushed troops. I promise to shock the whole city, the sect channels are stable, and the alliance leader is invincible." At the end of the tributary, the ghostly light at the edge of the ghost city's barrier pulsates like a will-o'-the-wisp, and the cold Shinqingqing jade slips project the forbidden light curtain as densely as 10,000 needles. Mo Fan's mobile phone cracks the green light and rushes wildly. The forbidden cracks crack and the green smoke evaporates. The three of them initially explore the ghost town. The black mist inside became thicker, and the smell of rotting tomb earth turned into the wails of thousands of ghosts. The piles of white bones on the ground creaked and crunched under the feet, and the rotten smell of bone marrow filled the nostrils. A wave of supernatural ghosts surged from the depths of the ghost city in the distance. The sinister wind roared like thousands of souls, and the green ghost fire connected like a tsunami. There was a faint pulsating roar of giant spiritual veins and green dragons. The three of them paused for a moment. Qin Feng's sword buzzed with cold air to protect their bodies, Lin Yuyan's red skirt trembled against her fragrant shoulders and her beautiful eyes widened. The ghost tide, the core of the barrier is in sight, it can swallow the sky and the earth. Mo Fan's golden eyes were locked on the ghost tide, and the game in his mind, 30% of the energy is left. The ghost tide is extremely talented and can be broken. Deep in the ghost city, the black mist was like squirming insects, the stench of rotting bone marrow was so strong that it could not be dissipated, it penetrated the nasal cavity like a rotten corpse gnawing at the heart, the bones on the ground cracked and shattered, bone fragments flew and stuck into the soles of boots with every step, stinging blood, the wind roared like millions of innocent souls tearing the eardrums. Green ghost fire came in one after another, reflecting the distorted faces of the three people like ghosts. The ghost tide surged, and thousands of resentful spirits twisted their faces and grinned ferociously. Their claws were like iron hooks grabbing the air and hissing. The spiritual pressure was like a 10,000-pound hammer hitting the top. The pressure made Qin Feng's sword hum and tremble. The cold light of the sword was dim and broken. His sword eyebrows were tightly knitted and veins exploded. He bit blood with his teeth and roared, "Brother Mo, this ghost tide. The peak of foundation building is like ants." Even after entering the golden elixir, the information about Sun Laozu's pig liver veins may be hidden, and there is no way to retreat. Lin Yuyan's red dress was scorched by the will-o'-the-wisps, and the burnt smell mixed with the smell of her body became strange. Her beautiful eyes were wide and bloodshot, and the water mist filled the air. Her jade hands pinched Mo Fan's sleeves, her fingertips were as cold as the 9 ghosts, and her fragrant shoulders trembled. Silently and crying, there are layers of ghost tides and phantom formations. Intelligence shows that the ancient prohibition is hidden in the core, and the power of the mobile phone is 30%, and the golden ring of oaths to protect the body can't stop this sea of ghosts. The family forced the marriage, Grand Ancestor Sun, with a ferocious smile on his pig liver face. Lin Yuyan, vowed to marry forever, and I would rather lose my soul than let you down. Brother Mo, we are finished. Shinqingqing hunted in black robes. Her figure loomed in the black mist, her cold and pretty face was as pale as paper, her jade fingers pinched the jade slip and the pulse was weak, the green glow was almost extinguished, her voice was as harsh as a ghost crying, "The core of the barrier is close at hand, the ghost tide can only be broken with extraordinary talent, my jade slip support has been exhausted, the alliance leader's magic. The ghost king is looming, pig liver sun patriarch may use the ghost tide to counterattack." The ghost wave erupted like a tsunami, and the leading ghost king's huge black shadow appeared, more than 3 feet tall in the form of a rotting human. His pig liver face was twisted and grinning like a replica of Sun Laozu. His eye sockets were filled with green fire, and the air was hot. With a wave of his giant claws, the dark wind exploded, tearing open Qin Feng's body-protecting sword energy. Fragments of cold light pricked his skin like ice rain, leaving bloodstains on it. He groaned in black. Blood spurted out, the smell of iron hit your nostrils, the frost sword was broken and it buzzed and whined, the Ghost King's golden elixir spiritual pressure. The sword is frozen, the poisonous gas eats the soul. Lin Yuyan's intelligence jade slip suddenly flashed red, and she screamed with tears in her eyes, the phantom array has begun. The ghost tide has thousands of clones, it is difficult to distinguish the true from the false, Sun Zhugan's decree controls it. The ghost fire sea is full of phantoms. Heavy, the air around the three of them was distorted, their field of vision stretched like an endless tomb, the walls of bone squeezed and rattled, bone spurs pierced the phantom, flesh and blood were blurred and the stench rose into the sky, Shenqingqing's jade slipped shattered into pieces and smoke evaporated. She staggered back and her cold eyes widened in despair, the ancient illusion formation, all the information is lost, Alliance leader, we are like dust. From outside the pavilion, Iron Armley roared loudly, buzzing through the hidden pulse of the mobile phone's spiritual vein module, Alliance leader. The three ancestors' true bodies, the black light spirit fire poison formation, combined to attack the top of the pavilion, the engines of the 10 major families' fleets roared again, the black clouds overwhelmed the city, and the spiritual pressure tsunami reappeared. The sect's 50 newcomers rained flesh and blood, and the channels and traps collapsed by 3 points. I can't hold on. Despair is like a black tide engulfing him. Mo Fan's golden eyes are still in the abyss. He stands on top of a pile of bones in tattered clothes. The golden ring of oaths around him dims a few inches. His spiritual pressure is crushed by the Ghost King until the jade bricks buzz and crack. The energy bar of his cultivation phone flashes red in the palm of his hand as a warning. There are only 3 green lights left. The pulse is weak, and the game in the heart is like lightning, the ghost tide swallows the sky, the energy is exhausted and the Ghost King is controlled, the Sun Zhugan's legacy controls the Ghost King, the intelligence phantom array is stacked, the only breakthrough, the spiritual vein is sucked in, the ghost energy is refining into a pill, the mobile phone is overloaded, and the soul is ascended. The corners of his lips curled up in a cold arc, and he looked down on the ghost-sweeping King Pig Liver with a face as if he were looking down at a beggar on the street, and ghosts, the dust of the 3 ancestors, the spiritual veins of the ghost city. I am the only one who dominates. He activated the spiritual vein module with a snap of his fingers, and the simple green light on the phone screen exploded like a green dragon awakening, buzzing straight into the depths of the ghost city. The giant spiritual veins and green dragons pulsed in response, the green light in the ground was like a heart beating wildly, the smell of wet and cold earth turned into a mellow spiritual fragrance, the tributaries of the hidden veins reversed and absorbed, the black mist ghost tide poured into the mobile phone, the wraiths screamed like 10,000 ghosts crying, the eardrums were about to burst, the green fire was extinguished and sparks splashed and tinkled. Qin Feng's sword eyes widened, and his eyes were about to bulge and burst with blood. The frost sword buzzed and revived, and the cold air exploded. He trembled and roared like a muffled thunder, the spiritual veins are sucked. The mobile phone artifact reverses the ghost tide, the Ghost King's pig liver face twists and retreats, the black mist flows back like a long river into the sea, Brother Mo. He is also a god. Lin Yuyan. The red lips were bitten and the blood rolled down, the water mist in the beautiful eyes evaporated and turned into fervent worship, the jade hands loosened their sleeves and knocked wildly on the white bones, the fragrant shoulders trembled and the fragrant wind burst out and mixed with the intoxicating spiritual fragrance. The information is wrong. The ghost tide is not Sun Zhu's liver control, but a relic from ancient times. The mobile phone absorbs and refines the ghost energy, and the oath golden ring flourishes to protect the body. I, Lin Yuyan, witness the legend. Shenqingqing's cool and pretty face flushed, and the black-robed hunter stepped forward to cover her mobile phone with her hand. Green light flashed wildly, reflecting the whole ghost city. Her voice became hoarse and turned into a high-pitched ecstasy, the leader's trump card. The energy bar increased by 80%, and the illusion formation was broken. The ghost energy in the mobile phone rolled like ink boiling, the golden elixir condensed, and the crystal ghost elixir sprayed thin and mellow fragrance into the sky. The moment Mo Fan swallowed the elixir, the peak spiritual pressure of the golden elixir surged like a dragon roaring for 9 days. The golden rings around him intertwined and shone dazzlingly. The ghost tide came back and rolled back, and the resentful spirits exploded and the bloody mist filled the skin with fishy heat. Qin Feng roared and the frost sword was unsheathed. The cold light was like a silver dragon tearing through the night. It cut straight into the Ghost King's pig liver face. The sword energy froze and the green fire crackled and shattered. Ice shards flew and stung the bones. His sword eyebrows stood up like veins like a python. Borrow Brother Mo's ghost elixir and kill ghosts with the sword. King. A sword penetrated the Ghost King's chest, the rotten flesh exploded and pus and blood spurted out into the sky. The pig's liver face twisted and grinned, and the green fire in the eye sockets extinguished and flew away. The Ghost King suddenly disintegrated and the black mist dispersed. The wind stopped and the ringing in the ears echoed. Lin Yuyan's intelligence jade slip restarted and flashed with red light. Her beautiful eyes locked on the weakness of the phantom array, and her jade finger pointed out, the phantom true core is on the third left, and the sun pig liver talisman is hidden on the right. The phantom array cracked and shattered, and the walls of bones collapsed and debris rained down on the head, clanking, revealing the core channel of blue light pulsing with heartbeats roaring. Shenqingqing raised his black robe, and his cold eyes widened eagerly. The ghost city is the ruins of an ancient immortal. The intelligence is revealed, the giant spirit vein hides the immortal cave, the phone is fully decrypted, and the alliance leader is in sight. The 3 people rushed into the core, and the dim light at the edge of the barrier was like a tsunami of will-o'-the-wisps. The crack finally cracked and the green smoke evaporated. The mellow fragrance of the spiritual veins was mixed with the ancient immortal energy and was intoxicating. The golden glow of the cave in the distance loomed, and the green dragon with 10 times the energy was coiled and roaring. Unexpectedly, after a moment of time travel, a sinister smile burst out in the black mist, and Fu Han's figure jumped out. He is not a remnant, but Fu Han is dead and the golden toad sheds its shell. His spiritual pressure at the peak of foundation building is soaring and his ambition is distorted. His pig liver face and ferocious smile are even better than those of old ancestor Sunday. The green mist of old ancestor Sun's poison talisman in his hand spurts out and bites the bones. The rotten stench is like feces, urine and blood, and goes straight to Lin Yuyan's heart, alliance leader. This young master of the elixir market, Sun Zhugan's legacy will help me resurrect. What a joke, the poison array seals your phone, and I will take the ghost city's spiritual veins for myself. The green fog surrounded me, the phone's energy bar flashed red and was on the verge of collapse, Qin Feng's sword was frozen with cold air, Lin Yuyan's red dress dyed green and her beautiful eyes were bloodshot and she screamed, Fu Han, fake death and follow you. Desperate situation came again. The 3 ancestors roared through the black mist, the black light fist spirit fire poison formation combined to hit the hidden veins buzzed and collapsed, the iron arm Li's flesh and blood regenerated the broken arm and roared, Fu Han is resurrected. The sex trap is broken into half, the 10 major families' golden elixirs are 30, the leader returns quickly. Mo Fan's golden eyes looked down at the sky with ants, and the sneer at the corner of his lips deepened, Fu Hanchen, Sun Zhugan ants. The oath of heaven broke out in his heart, and his hands the projection of the golden wheel of the machine appeared, and the golden rings were as powerful as the exploding heat wave hitting the face. The oaths were filled with blood and iron, and the golden rings were intertwined with Lin Yuyan's beautiful hands. We will always be united, and we will kill Fu Han. Qin Feng regained his sword. Su and Shenqingqing's jade slips assisted, and the 3 of them joined forces to strike against the sky. Mo Fan's ghost pill spiritual pressure exploded like a dragon, Qin Feng's sword Qi silver dragon ripped apart the mist, Lin Yuyan's intelligence locked the core with red light, and Shenqingqing's black-robed ghost fire counterattacked. The combination of golden sword energy, red light and ghost fire struck down like a punishment from heaven. Fu Han's pig liver face was round and bloodshot, his eyes were about to explode, his nose was quivering, and the smell of incense turned bloody. The residual limbs were hot and smashed to the ground with pus and blood rising to the sky. His trembling roar was twisted in despair, oath of heaven. Divine strike. Sun Jugan's legacy. His soul was scattered into ashes and smoke, and the poison talisman shattered and sparks flew everywhere. Qin Feng's sword eyes trembled with joy, Fu Han has fallen. The oath broke out against the sky, Brother Mo is invincible. Lin Yuyan's beautiful eyes were filled with tears of admiration, her fragrant shoulder threw herself on Mo Fan's arm and whispered eagerly, "We will always be together, the ghost city will be one." Shen Qingqing's cold and pretty face collapsed and turned into a frenzy, and her jade hands tapped on the ground, "The ancient ruins are open." The alliance leader Nascent Soul points to the sun. The giant spiritual vein green dragon finally awakens, a tsunami of green light pours into the three people, the green glow of the mobile phone's spiritual vein module is full of overload, the buzzing is piercing like the roar of 10,000 swords, Mo Fan's golden elixir is shattered and reorganized, the spiritual pressure surges, the dragon roar in the early stage of Yuanying shakes the sky, the golden glow of the immortal energy around the body soars into the sky, the ragged hunter turns to the golden robe hunter, the momentum stops and I stand alone. The real body of the three ancestors outside the pavilion was stagnant, the dark light of Zhao Kushu's fist regurgitated the meridians and caused dull pain, Li Fat's body was burnt by spiritual fire and his nose was scorched, and Sun Ju's face was distorted and he roared back 3 feet, "Nascent soul, don't beg her to ascend, mobile phone artifact." The engines of the 10 major family convoys exploded and black smoke rose into the sky, and the golden elixir spiritual pressure collapsed. The newcomer Li Yuan heard Jin Hui and kowtowed in ecstasy and roared, shaking the whole city, "Leader Yuanying. The sect is immortal, and the channel monopolizes the elixir market." The whole city was boiling. The headlines of the FairyNet instantly changed to "Mofen Bai Dan airdrop, price war with 2 Fu." The casual cultivators rushed to the street and cheered. They inhaled the pill mist and their spiritual power surged. Some people built the foundation on the spot and the spiritual light reached the top. Their sword energy was so cold that they shaved their faces, the elixir is 3 times more effective. Fu's alliance collapsed. Mo Fan's figure teleported over the headquarters, looking down with his hands behind his back, hunting in tattered clothes, with the golden elixir's peak aura as contemptuous as the sky, "Fu Han, come out and die." Fu Han jumped out with a roar, and struck the peak of the foundation with a black light fist. The moment the golden gate burst open, the ancient immortal energy surged into the face like a tide. The mellow spiritual fragrance mixed with the sharp metal penetrated straight into the nose, burning the nose and causing pain. The golden walls of the cave were dazzling like thousands of swords coming out. The green dragon's spiritual veins were beating wildly around the heart and the roar was deafening. The wet mud under the ground was churning, splashing with fishy earth and bone fragments, flying and pricking the skin like needle pricks. Then the dark wind suddenly rises, the black mist is like the resurgence of thousands of insects, the stench of rotten bone marrow rises tenfold, and the eardrums are ripped apart by the howling of ghosts and wolves, like the devouring of billions of innocent souls. The golden glow in the depths of the cave suddenly dims, and the huge figure of an ancient stone statue slowly wakes up. The stone body more than 10 feet high is cracked and steaming, and the eyes are as red as lava. The heat wave hits the face and blisters. The air exploded with a wave of his giant palm, the spiritual pressure was like a mountain toppling over, the pressure made Qin Feng Shuang's sword buzz and freeze, his sword eyes were bloodshot and bursting with veins, his iron arms trembled and his low roar was like a desperate beast, the ancient guardian stone demon. The spiritual pressure of Yuanying, the ghost city is finally banned, all the information is lost, Brother Mo, we can defeat Fu cold, the stone demon kills the soul with 1 palm. Lin Yuyan hunted in the red dress, her beautiful eyes were filled with blood mist, and her jade hands pinched Mo Fan's arms, her fingertips were bone-chilling and her shoulders trembled hoarsely, the cracks in the body of the golden ring of oaths are also spreading, the stone demon's bloody eyes are locked on the source of the spiritual veins, the poison of the pig's liver is still there, the shadow of the family's forced marriage is coming again. I, Lin Yuyan, break my oath, don't live up to it. It's over, it's over. Shen Qingqing's black robe was broken and the smell of burnt was choking her nose. Her cold and pretty face was as pale as ghost paper. The pulse of the jade slip was completely extinguished. She staggered back and her voice was as harsh as broken glass. The stone demon is the blood sacrifice of the immortal. The core of the ghost city will destroy all intruders. The phone will explode when it is overloaded. Leader, retreat. The giant palm of the stone demon smashed down, a tsunami of blood-red spiritual pressure roared, the jade bricks on the edge of the golden gate burst like rain, hit the head and stung, the green dragon's spiritual veins trembled and were about to break, buzzing and whining, the black mist rolled back and the willow fire rekindled the green light in the sky. Outside the distant pavilion, the real body of the three ancestors roared through the hidden veins of the mobile phone and exploded into the sky. Zhao Kushu's black light fist meridians backfired with dull pain and twisted and roared, the stone demon has awakened. So what if you don't beg the nascent soul? The poisonous talisman of Sun Zhugan's legacy vein is rekindled. We, the three elders, join forces to sacrifice blood to the stone. Devil, the elixir market will always belong to the remnants of the Fu family. Li Fat's body burned to the ground with a burning stench. Sun Zhugan's face was filled with green mist. Although Fu Han has died, the family's golden elixir is 50-50, and the channel has collapsed. What a joke! Fly! Iron-armed Li Yuanzhuan roared, his broken arm regenerated and his flesh squirmed, his voice was desperate and bloody, alliance leader. The engines of the 10 major family fleets reorganized, the golden elixir tsunami pressed again, the trap was broken into pieces, half of the newcomers fell, and Uncle Fu Han led the remaining party. Counterattack. I can't hold on anymore. The black tide of despair engulfed the four of them. The stone demon's blood-stained eyes locked onto Mo Fan. The phone's red light flashed wildly and cracks spread. The golden glow of the ancient runes pulsated faintly, and the energy bar was overloaded and on the verge of collapse. Mo Fan's golden eyes were still in the abyss, and his golden robe was fixed on the source of his spiritual veins. The golden glow around his body was dim and the stone demon pressed him until his bones creaked. The corners of his lips curled up in a cold arc, scorning the stone demon as if he were looking down at the mud on the street, the dust of the stone demon, the ants of the three ancestors, the spiritual veins of the ghost city. I am the only one who dominates. His thoughts exploded, and he pressed the simple screen of his mobile phone with a snap of his fingers. The red light exploded like a blood dragon awakening, buzzing straight away. The stone demon cracked its stone body, and ancient runes and golden lights appeared in the cracks. The veins were intertwined like a sky net. The spiritual vein module reorganized and buzzed. The blue dragon roared and poured a green tsunami into the mobile phone. The ghost energy stone demon's blood-red spiritual pressure flowed back like a long river into the sea. The cracks intensified the stone demon's blood eyes. The cracks intensified the smoke and evaporated, and the roar was like a mountain avalanche. Qin Feng's sword eyes were about to bulge and burst with blood. The frost sword revived and the cold air exploded and the silver dragon circled. He trembled and roared like thunder, unlocked the ancient module of the mobile phone. The source of spiritual veins is greatly sucked, the spiritual pressure of the stone demon is reversed, Brother Mo, is a god who defies the sky. Lin Yuyan's beautiful eyes were filled with mist, and she turned into a fanatical worshipper. Her red lips were bitten and blood beads rolled down, and her jade hands opened up and knocked wildly on the golden gate. Her fragrant shoulders trembled in the fragrant breeze. Exploding the spiritual incense, she murmured intoxicatingly, the golden ring of oath is prosperous. The stone demon melts like a candle, I, Lin Yuyan, witness the ascension, and we will be united forever. Shen Qingqing's cold and pretty face flushed and collapsed and turned into ecstasy. The ghost energy and stone spirit in the mobile phone rolled like a sea of ink boiling, the golden elixir condensed in batches, the crystal ascending elixir sprayed out a thin mist of elixir, the golden fragrance rose to the sky, and the hot air was distorted. Mo Fan swallowed 3 pills, and the spiritual pressure of the initial stage of Yuanying surged like a dragon singing for 9 days. The ghost city was shaken by layers of white bones that crackled and shattered. Immortal energy surged into the sky, and the golden robes turned into purple gold dragon robes. The momentum stood still, and the golden rings of the oath of heaven around them intertwined and shone like a bursting heat wave in the sun. The huge body of the stone demon suddenly exploded. The blood-red stone fragments splashed like fire rain, scalding the skin, blistering and stinking to the sky. The source of the spiritual vein, the green dragon, hummed and kowtowed in complete submission. A tsunami of 10 times the energy poured into the 4 people. The mobile phone module stabilized the green glow and filled the runes forever. Qin Feng swallowed the elixir to build the foundation and shattered the golden elixir. In the early stage, the cold air silver dragon danced wildly. His sword eyebrows stood up with green veins like a dragon and trembled in ecstasy. Golden elixir. Brother Mo's elixir defies the heavens, and his sword intention is great. Lin Yuyan wore a red dress and a gold ring and swallowed the elixir at its peak. Her beautiful eyes were full of tears. She threw herself on Mo Fan's arm and whispered softly and warmly, "Ascension is shared, the family forced marriage is a joke." Shen Qingqing was reborn in a black robe with gold-edged jade slips, her cold eyes were wild and round, and she knocked on the ground. "Leader of Nascent Soul Alliance, all information about the ghost city is open. Shen Qingqing, swear allegiance to the death." Mo Fan swept his golden eyes, and the spiritual pulse module on his mobile phone buzzed to make elixirs in batches. The shadow of the golden furnace appeared, and the elixir fire was blazing, the heat wave was scalding the noodles, and the fragrance of the elixirs was mellow and intoxicating. Hundreds of ascending elixirs spurted golden light into the sky, and the crystal-clear spiritual energy was billowing. He sneered and flicked his fingers. "Fu Hanchen, transport them out of the ghost city and subvert the market." Qin Feng waved his sword and escorted the silver dragon. Lin Yuyan's intelligence jade slip locked the passage with red light. Shen Qingqing's black robe and willow wisps opened the way. 4 people broke through the golden gate. The black fog in the ghost city disappeared and the wind stopped. The tinnitus echoed in the ears. The plane of bones collapsed and the source of the green light pulsation was in the hands of Yongzong Mo Fan. In the night sky outside the pavilion, the golden light of elixir poured down like a meteor shower. Iron-armed Li's broken arm was regenerated. His iron arm was ecstatic and his bloodshot eyes burst. He knelt down and kowtowed, and his head hit the ground. Bang, blood stains and a roar shook the whole city. Leader of the Alliance ascends to immortality, Dan Yu. Nascent soul purple gold robe, the sect is immortal. The 50 newcomers were covered in blood and bruises, and they prostrated themselves fervently when they saw the golden light, smelling the fragrance of Dan, and shouted like a tsunami, "The leader is invincible." The real body of the 3 ancestors was frozen on the roof of the pavilion, and the black light fist counterattacked the skinny Zhao's meridians. His meridians creaked and his skinny body twitched and coughed. Black blood and iron smell hit his nose. Fatty Li's body was burned by spiritual fire, and his skin was charred and his flesh was split open. The smell was rising to the sky. Sun Julie's face was distorted and the green mist collapsed. His nostrils were quivering and he smelled the scent of elixirs. He turned to despair. Trembling and growling like a dying wild dog, elixir batch. Nascent soul spiritual pressure, where is the remnant of the Fu Han family? My grandson Zhugan regrets that we should join forces, the Sun family's channels are in ruins. Uncle Fu Han brought the golden elixir to the 30 pavilion, Zhugan's face was grinning fiercely when he saw the elixir raining round and staring. Eyes of blood are about to explode. The poisonous green mist array sizzles and devours the rotten flesh. It explodes and pus and blood splashes hot and hits the ground. They kneel on the ground and tremble with despair and distortion. The Fu family admits defeat. Alliance leader, spare your life. All channels are sacrificed. The engines of the 10 major family fleets burst into pieces and black smoke shot into the sky. Jindan tsunami. Collapse, the newcomer Li Tijui regenerated his flesh and blood and cut off the enemy's arm. The remnants of the Fu family surrendered and crawled like insects. The elders of the family cried through the hidden pulse of the mobile phone, "Leader Mo, the situation is reversed. Seek for the elixir of peace." The 10 channels are merged, and Fu Han's ambition is reduced to ashes. Mo Fan hunts in a purple-gold dragon robe and stands on the top of the pavilion. His golden eyes look down with disdain like a god looking down at ants. The spiritual pulse module on his mobile phone buzzes with the pulsation of hidden veins across the country. The sect expands like a wildfire. The elixir market monopolizes channels and collapses the enemy's family. Iron-armed Li kowtowed ecstatically, 50 sects across the country kowtow, and the Netherworld Pavilion is promoted to the main pavilion of the Immortal Alliance. Qin Feng's sword energy and silver dragons dominate all directions. Lin Yuyan's beautiful eyes worship her and she cuddles on her shoulders. Shen Qingqing's cold eyes are eager to open the national network of jade slip information. However, deep in the ghost city, the dark wind inside the Golden Gate was weak again, and an ancient ghost loomed in the black mist. The pig liver face was not that of Sun Fu, but the remnant soul of an immortal. He smiled like a needle piercing the diaphragm. The source of the spiritual veins is obtained, the final secret, the blood sacrifice is resurrected. The golden rune on the mobile phone suddenly flashed a warning, a new crisis was brewing, and the reversal of the pattern of cultivating immortals was imminent. The night breeze blows gently on the top of the Netherworld Pavilion, and the residual fragrance of Dan lingers like silk on the tip of the nose. The mellow golden sweetness mixed with the moist earthy scent of Qinglong's spiritual veins hits the face and makes people feel refreshed. In the square outside the pavilion, bones and debris are still echoing with rattling sounds. Iron arms and iron arms are as thick as iron pillars. The crackling sound of flesh and blood has not stopped yet. The loud bang of him kneeling on the ground and kowtow shakes the jade bricks. His forehead is stained with blood and smells of iron. His round eyes are bloodshot and ecstatic, as if he has seen a god. His voice is as hoarse as thunder and explodes. The alliance leader's purple and gold dragon robes soar into the sky, and the elixir rains down. City. The hidden veins of 50 sects across the country are now the helmsmen of the Immortal Alliance. Iron-armed Li will guard it to the death, and the channel will be forever guarded. The 50 newcomers are covered in wounds, and the smell of burnt flesh and blood is mixed with the fragrance of red pills. They crawl like insects, pattering on the ground with blood and sweat, and the wave of worship in unison is like a tsunami. The leader is invincible. The source of the spiritual veins is forever controlled, and the market is monopolized. Mo Fan hunts in the purple gold dragon robe, the golden glow of immortal energy surrounds him like mist, and the spiritual pressure of the early stage of nascent soul is hidden but not emitted, just like the god of Yuan Ting Yuji. His golden eyes swept over you indifferently. The real body of the 3 ancestors was frozen on the edge of the roof of the pavilion. Zhao's skinny black mang fist meridians were creaking and reversing. His skinny body was twitching like a candle in the wind. The black blood he coughed up was pungent and splashed on the ground, corroding the jade bricks. The embers of self-immolation on Fatty Li's body, the charred stench of his skin and flesh bursting into the sky, his fat face was twisted and sweat rolled down, his legs were trembling and he knelt down with a hoarse and desperate voice, "The batch of elixir. The nascent soul is overwhelming, my Li family's channels are in ashes, please forgive me, leader." Sun pig liver's green mist poisonous formation self-eating, the rotten flesh exploded with pus and blood, and the pig liver face was round and his eyes were bulging, his nostrils were quivering as he sniffed the scent of elixirs, and growled with regret like a dying wild dog. The Sun family regrets that they should not have joined forces with Fu Han. Blood sacrifices to the stone demons are a joke, asking for elixir to extend their lives. The 3 ancestors used to be rampant in the late Jindan period. Lin Yuyan's red dress sparkled with golden rings, her beautiful eyes were adoring and fervent, her fragrant shoulders nestled against Mo Fan's arms, and the warm fragrance of nephrite jade filled her nostrils with the subtle charm of orchids. Her jade hands caressed the edge of the golden robe, and her whisper was as intoxicating as an oriole's cry, "We vow to be together forever, and we will share in the ascension." The shadow of the family's forced marriage has disappeared, and I, Lin Yuyan, will be the only king in this life. Qin Feng's sword is circling with a silver dragon, and the golden elixir of great sword intent is faintly cold in the early stages. The blue veins in his eyes stood up like a dragon, and he trembled with ecstasy and held his hands respectfully. Brother Mo is so powerful that his sword dominates all directions. As a protector, you can do whatever you want. Shen Qingqing's black robe was fluttering with gold edges, and her cold and pretty face was not yet flushed. Retreat, the jade slip's green glow pulses with information across the country. Her cold eyes widen and she taps the ground feverishly. Her voice is hoarse and becomes as passionate as a crane. The information about the ghost town is fully opened. Shen Qingqing is in charge of the branch. I swear allegiance to the death. The corners of Mo Fan's lips curled up in a cold arc, his golden eyes were as contemptuous as looking down at ants, the simple green screen of his mobile phone buzzed softly, and the golden glow of ancient runes intertwined with each other. He flicked his fingers calmly, and hundreds of ascending elixirs poured out with golden light like meteors. Crystal clear elixir mist sprayed thin golden fragrance into the sky, and the hot air was distorted. When the three ancestors saw Dan Yu, their fat and skinny pig liver faces burst into bloodshot eyes. Zhao Kushu trembled and stretched out his hands as if picking up bones, with a broken voice, "Elixir, sustain life." Fatty Li swallowed one, and the embers of the spiritual fire were instantly extinguished and his body was reborn. The heat wave hit his face. His fat face was ecstatic with tears and runny noses, and he shouted, "Peak foundation building. A great favor from the alliance leader." Sun Pig Liver's green mist dissipated. After swallowing the golden elixir to perfection, the pig liver face twisted and crowed feverishly, "All channels of the Sun family are dedicated, and they will never backfire." The remnant uncle of the Fu family is 30 golden elixirs, and the pig liver face is frozen with a ferocious smile, kneeling and trembling. The green mist eats the pus and blood, and they kowtow with a bang. Fu Han's ambitions are in vain, the family surrenders. 30 golden elixirs are loyal, the channels merge with the immortal alliance. The black smoke from the convoys of the 10 major families has cleared, and the engines are buzzing. After the collapse of the golden elixir tsunami, the elders cry out for hidden pulses on their mobile phones. The old man's face is pale and sweaty, and his voice is distorted in despair. The situation has reversed. The 10 channels have merged. Please protect me from the elixir, and alliance leader Mo will spare me. Mo Fan's golden eyes flashed, and the mobile phone's spiritual pulse module buzzed. The hidden pulses of the whole country were pulsing, and the elixirs were transmitted in batches. The golden light was like a net, and the elders stared in ecstasy as soon as they swallowed the pill. Their meridians creaked and surged with a tsunami of spiritual pressure. They all shouted in worship, "Hegemon of the Immortal Alliance." The channel is monopolizing the whole country. With a wave of his iron arm, Li Tai's arm was regenerated and the enemy's arm was broken. However, before the aftermath was over, a figure staggered and knelt in outside the pavilion door. He was the former snobbish doorman. His grey robe was in tatters and stained with blood in the early stages of foundation building. His nose was bruised and his pig-headed face was round with fear and covered with bloodshot eyes. His forehead hit the ground and made a bloody mold. The smell of iron hit my nostrils, and my voice trembled like chaff. "Leader, spare your life." In the past, I was blind, and I mocked the beggars for wandering cultivators, blocking the way outside the door. Now I see the purple-gold-robed nascent soul soaring into the sky, and the guard is heartbroken. Please give me a seat at the outer door, and swear to death. Atonement. Lin Yuyan's beautiful eyes narrowed slightly, her shoulders trembled slightly, her jade hands gently squeezed Mo Fan's arm and whispered, "This beast once humiliated you, and the family also looked coldly upon you when they forced you to marry me. Qin Feng's sword buzzed and exploded with cold air, and his sword eyes were raised and he shouted, "One sword. Kill him." Shen Qingqing's cold eyes flashed with murderous intent, and his black-robed ghost fire and green light sneered, "The information shows that he betrayed the Fu family, and his crime is unforgivable." Iron-armed Li Tiji gasped and clenched his iron fist, "Alliance leader, this insect should be broken into pieces." Mo Fan's golden eyes were abyss, and the purple-gold dragon robe's fairy energy surged so softly that the guard's body creaked to pieces. He smiled contemptuously, "It's the ant's fault, why bother? Enter the outer gate, and the barren veins on the edge of the town." The guard's pig-headed face suddenly widened in ecstasy, his eyes bulging and bleeding tears flowed wildly. "I will never regret it." Everyone was stunned when they heard this. Lin Yuyan's beautiful eyes were filled with admiration even more. Her soft body was warm and she leaned against him and whispered, "You are the only one who is generous and generous." Qin Feng's sword eyes slightly narrowed and he held his hands. "Brother Mo has a big heart, and he is unashamed under the sword." Shen Qingqing's pretty face flushed and she knelt on the ground, "Alliance leader Xingming, the branch obeys orders." Iron-armed Li roared in ecstasy, "The outer sect is expanding, and the whole country is bowing down." In the soothing night, Mo Fan's thoughts turned, the golden glow of the mobile phone screen skyrocketed, the ancient runes pulsed like the coming of heaven, and buzzed straight into the sky, roaring like a green dragon kowtowing at the source of the spiritual veins. The green glow full grid module is reorganized, and the Tiandao mode is unlocked. The global hidden vein map is projected on the screen, with red dots and green light intertwined with the pulsation of massive spiritual veins. The energy bar is full of gold and the edges are shining, and the scanning wave is like an invisible giant network covering the urban cultivation world. Qin Feng's sword eyes widened as the frost sword trembled and the silver dragon danced wildly. He trembled and roared like thunder, "Tiandao mode. The whole world's spiritual veins have been swept away, Brother Mo, the cultivation overlord." Lin Yuyan bit her red lips and blood dropped, and her beautiful eyes eagerly fluttered towards her arms. The fragrance burst out, "Share the sky Dao, Taoist companion Yuyan will always follow you." Shen Qingqing's green eyes flashed wildly, and her cold eyes were sharp, "The intelligence of the Ghost City branch has been upgraded, and the global network has been opened." Iron Arm gasped and his eyes burst with blood, "The main pavilion is pulsating all over the country, and the spiritual veins of all 50 sects have returned." Mo Fan swallowed the remaining pills, the dragon's chant of yuanying spiritual pressure was faint, and the purple and gold dragon robe turned into colorful fairy light and soared into the sky, preparing to finally ascend. He turned around and hugged Lin Yuyan's slender waist. The fragrance was soft and hot and touched the peaks of Huayu. The golden fragrance of the red dress and golden ring of the oath hit her nostrils. Her beautiful eyes were filled with tears and she whispered, "The Taoist companion has soared, and Yu Yan will go with me." Qin Feng was appointed as the protector of Frost Sword Town in the east, Shen Qingqing was in charge of the Ghost City branch's Black Robe and Ghost Fire to protect the west, and the iron arm of Li Zhen's main pavilion was immortalized in flesh and blood. The elixir market is monopolized, channels are merged across the country, the sect becomes the overlord of cultivation, fame spreads like wildfire throughout the hidden veins, the cell phone's heavenly Tao mode buzzes, and the red and green spiritual veins around the world are intertwined and controlled by Mo Fan. However, the phone was overloaded and the red light flashed wildly. The screen was cracked, and the screen was buzzing. The golden pulsation of ancient runes was faintly revealed. The ancient secret is about to be unlocked. Deep in the Ghost City, the golden gate of the cave opens wide, the immortals' relics shine brightly into the sky, and the evil wind rises again like a new crisis is brewing. The night wind at the top of Netherworld Pavilion suddenly turned, and the biting coldness was like thousands of needles piercing the bones. The stench mixed with rotting bones and mold assaulted the nostrils, instantly dissipating the remaining red incense, making everyone's noses quiver and their stomachs churn. The red light on the mobile phone screen pulses like a heart beating wildly and buzzes harshly. The golden runes are twisted and cracked. The red dots of the ghost town on the projection map surge and the black mist floods like ink, swallowing up the surrounding green spiritual veins. The metal of the pavilion door twisted and exploded with a loud noise, black mist poured in like a tide, heat and rust hit the face with blood, the ancient ghost shadow on the pig liver face suddenly solidified, the bones of the mutilated immortal body that was more than 3 feet tall were thorny, and the blood eyes were as hot as lava. He let out a sneer when he locked onto Mo Fan's purple gold dragon robe. He laughed ferociously, and the sound was like thunder that burst his eardrums. Young man, my spiritual veins have been taken away, and the elixir has conquered the city. I am the heavenly immortal lord in the ghost city, and I have been dead for thousands of years, and I have been resurrected through blood sacrifices. Even an ant in the early stage of nascent soul dares to covet the source. Tonight, the blood-devouring immortal alliance, my spiritual veins return to me, and I ascend. Dreaming. Iron Armly Tai Arm was the first to bear the brunt, his thick body was turned around with a crackle of flesh and blood, his iron fist was crushed and weak, his big bloodshot eyes were full of fear, he was breathing heavily like a bellows and fell to the ground, and the iron sweat dropped on the ground and hissed, Immortal Lord, the blood sacrifice to the stone demon continues. The iron arm cannot suppress it, Alliance leader, run away. The third ancestor Zhao's body was twitching like a broken candle as he regained strength with his skinny black Mang fist. Chu roared in despair, the golden elixir is useless, the backlash is coming again. Sun Ju's liver poisonous formation eats itself, I shouldn't regret it. Fatty Li's body's spiritual fire ignited again, his skin was torn and his flesh was charred, and the smell was rising to the sky. His fat face was sweating like rain, his legs were weak, and he knelt down with a hoarse voice, build the foundation, the leader's elixir is in vain. The remnants of the Fu family's golden elixir 30 uncles ate themselves in green mist. Their eyes were bulging with pus and blood, and they shouted in fear, isn't it enough for the family to admit defeat? Ghost immortal blood eyes, all channels are destroyed. The golden ring in Lin Yuyan's red dress was dim, her beautiful eyes were round and full of tears, her fragrant body was trembling and she was leaning on Mo Fan's arm. The subtle charm of the orchid mixed with the rotten smell made her clench her delicate hands and cry, the golden ring of the oath is broken. Taoist companion, Yuyan will protect you. Qin Feng sword the silver dragon circled and buzzed, and the cold energy of the golden elixir collapsed. The green veins in his sword eyes stood up and he trembled and growled, swords in all directions. A tsunami of spiritual pressure from ghosts and immortals. Brother Mo, my sword is broken. Shenqingqing's black robe, ghost fire and green light were all extinguished, and she was cold and pretty. Her face turned pale and flushed, and the information on the jade slips was disconnected. She knocked on the ground with cold eyes and cried blood and despair, the information in the Ghost City branch is all black, Shenqingqing is powerless, the leader. The guard's pig head, face, nose, bruises and cracks, blood spattering and burning, grey robe the rags crawled like insects, trembling and sifting chaff, just after entering the outer gate, the new students turned to ashes. I used to be blind, but now I regret my death. 50 newcomers crawled for the rest of their lives, smashing the ground in the sweat and mud, and shouted in despair, the immortal alliance collapsed, and the whole country's worship has become a joke. The ghost fairy's bloody eyes widened with a ferocious smile, and the tentacles of black mist whipped the air like iron whips, rolling up the bodies of the 3 ancestors and smashing them against the pavilion wall with a loud bang and cracking bones. Zhao Kushu coughed, black blood and iron splattered on everyone's faces, Fatty Li's body was burnt and the pieces of meat flew into the sky, and the smell filled the sky, and the pig's liver exploded with green mist and scalded pus onto the ground. His pig liver face turned to Mo Fan, his bloody eyes looking down at the dust with contempt, reborn as a casual cultivator. Cell phone spiritual veins. What if the heavenly mode is unlocked? My immortal soul is immortal, and the global spiritual veins are devoured. Kneel down and offer the elixir, I will spare your life. The spiritual pressure is like an overturned mountain, the jade bricks on the top of the pavilion are cracked, the night wind is howling and the gravel is whizzing, everyone's ears are ringing, their brains are swollen, their blood vessels are flowing backward, and the wave of despair is overwhelming their hearts. Mo Fan's purple and gold dragon robe's seven-color fairy light is faintly extinguished, his golden eyes are abyss, and his cold curved lips are even more contemptuous. The simple red light on the mobile phone screen pulses with green light and buzzes like a dragon. He calmly snaps his fingers and activates the heavenly mode. The golden light of the runes skyrocketed like the coming of heaven, the invisible giant net of the scanning wave backfired and corroded the black mist, the red dots on the map were reversed and the green light reversed, massive spiritual energy poured in like rivers, the buzzing of mobile phones shook the top of the pavilion, and the nascent soul's spiritual pressure soared into the sky to disperse the cold. The ghost immortal's blood-eyed miniature pig liver face twisted for the first time, the bone spurs of the mutilated immortal body creaked and reversed, the black mist tentacles snapped and the heat wave counterattacked, and his low roar became trembling and frightened, the runes of heaven, the ancient prohibition. The spiritual veins are counterattacking my soul. Iron-armed eyes were bloodshot, his iron fists were crushed and he stood up in ecstasy and roared like thunder, the Alliance leader's golden eyes are immortal. Heaven's way buzzes, ghost immortal bone spurs break. The golden light of the three ancestors swallowed the immortal elixir poured out, Zhao Kushu's black blood stopped the meridians and reborn, and the heat wave hit his face. His withered face was ecstatic with tears and runny nose, the elixir is restored to life, and the black light fist soared to the peak of the golden elixir. Li Fati's body spiritual fire reversed and his body exploded, his fat face twisted and turned into a wild roar, build the foundation and break the golden elixir, the Alliance leader is mighty. Sun Zhugan's green mist dispersed and the golden elixir was completed, Pig Liver's face was rounded and he kowtowed in admiration, the channel will be dedicated forever, the ghosts and immortals will be ashes. Uncle Fu's 30-year-old golden elixir destroyed himself in the green mist and swallowed the elixir's spiritual pressure in a tsunami. They all shouted in admiration with wide eyes filled with blood, admit defeat and the immortal alliance will be immortal. Lin Yuyan's beautiful eyes were filled with mist and fervent admiration. The golden oath of the golden ring hit her nostrils and exploded. Her fragrant body was hot and the jade peak rose and fell like an aureole, the Taoist couple is supreme in the way of heaven, and Yu Yen will share the ascension. Shen Qingqing's cold eyes flushed wildly, and the ghostly fire and green light in his black robe rekindled and the jade slips were leaking information, the black fog of the ghost city has been swept away, the branches have been opened globally, and the alliance leader is sage. The guard's pig-headed face stopped his ecstasy with blood, kowtowed and his head split open, the great virtue reappears, the outer gate suppresses ghosts. 50 newcomers regenerated their flesh and blood and sniffed the scent of elixirs and crawled, and the square was filled with a tsunami of noise, the alliance leader defies heaven, ghosts and immortals kneel down. Mo Fan's golden eyes flashed, the mobile phone's Tiandao module buzzed, and the red and green spiritual veins around the world were intertwined, and the energy bar was full of gold and shining like the sun. He swallowed the final elixir, and the nascent soul dragon roar surged to its midterm peak spiritual pressure. The gravel on the top of the tsunami pavilion flew, whoosh, the purple and gold dragon robe's colorful fairy light rushed into the sky, and the air was twisted and twisted. The ghost immortal's pig liver face burst with bloody eyes and black blood and iron spurted out, the bones of the mutilated immortal body were broken and cracked, the black mist dispersed and the rotten smell reversed the elixir fragrance. He knelt down and trembled with a broken voice like a dying beast, immortal lord admits defeat. I offer the source, spare my soul. Mo Fan smiled contemptuously, flicked his fingers and poured out hundreds of ascending elixirs, golden light meteors, and swallowed them by the ghosts and immortals. The golden elixir of immortal souls was reborn, and the heat wave hit his face. He kowtowed with ecstasy and tears of blood on his pig liver face, the ghost city forever controls the immortal alliance, and the ancient secrets are fully revealed. Seeing the surrender of the ghost fairy, everyone was stunned and turned into a frenzy. Lin Yuyan's shoulders trembled and her beautiful eyes were filled with tears of admiration. You are the only one in heaven and on earth. Qin Feng's sword buzzed and the silver dragon worshipped, invincible under the sword. Brother Mo is the overlord. Shen Qingqing's cold face flushed and she shouted sharply, intelligence upgrade, Ghost City Gold. All the members of the clan. Iron Arm Li Tai Arm gasped and his eyes widened, his blood surged. The main pavilion is immortal, the 50 sects across the country are expanding wildly. The image of the convoy of the 10 major families of the Fu family was transmitted from a distance, and the old man turned pale and ecstatically swallowed the pill and roared, the pattern is permanent, the channel is monopolizing the immortal alliance. When the moment of ascension arrived, Mo Fan held Lin Yuyan's slender waist, softly and hotly pressed her red skirt and gold ring into her arms and vowed to be married forever. Her beautiful eyes whispered eagerly, Taoist couple will go to the fairy world together. Qin Feng's sword guarded the east, Shen Qingqing black robe ghost fire palm Ghost City global branch, Iron Arm Li Iron Arm forever in the main pavilion. The channels of the 3 ancestors of the Fu family merged across the country, the outer gate of the gate guard expanded the wild line, and the new members of the 50 sects bowed like a sea. The mobile phone's heavenly way mode buzzes forever, the global spiritual veins are green and full of runes, and the golden light pulsates. The elixir market dominates, and the pattern of cultivation is reversed in the palm of Mo Fan's hand. The purple and gold dragon robe's colorful fairy light soared into the sky, the dragon's spiritual pressure broke through the clouds in the sky, the night sky thundered and golden thunder wrapped around the hot air, and the people prostrated and worshipped with thunderous voices. The leader of the alliance ascends. The immortal alliance will be immortal for thousands of years. However, deep in the Ghost City, inside the Golden Gate, the dark wind is as weak and harsh as needles. In the black mist, the ancient ghost shadow on the face of the pig liver gradually condenses. The immortal soul's bloody eyes loom and chuckle, and the heat wave and the stench of rotting bones faintly rush out. The source of the spiritual veins is successful. The blood sacrifice is resurrected. I will fight for the position of overlord. The golden rune on the mobile phone flashes a warning, the red light pulses and buzzes, a new crisis is coming quietly, and there is an undercurrent on the eve of the ascension. The afterglow lingers on the top of Netherworld Pavilion, with a wave of Iron Arm Li Iron Arm, the newcomer is reborn in a bloody battle, and the sect expands and sets the whole country on fire. Lin Yuyan's figure in the red dress has disappeared with the beam of light, the oath golden ring is projected on the sky forever, Qin Feng's sword and silver dragon dominate the east and west, Shen Qingqing's green jade slip spread the intelligence network around the world, and the ghost town of Kinmen controls the ancient secrets. The 3 ancestors, Zhao Li and Sun, have all the channels, the 30 golden elixir uncles of the Fu family are loyal, the engines of the fleets of the 10 major families are buzzing and restarting, and the elders are ecstatic from afar. The immortal alliance is the only one, ascend and share. The guard with a pig head and face is enthusiastic about the border desolate vein, and the former snobbery is now new and kowtows endlessly. After the ascension, the night became soothing. The jade bricks in the square outside the pavilion were reborn and pulsed with golden light. The mobile phone projected the map of the mode of heaven left behind. The source of the red and green spiritual veins was as eternal as the kowtow of the blue dragon. Iron-armed Li Kuo roared to the sky, the leader of the alliance, purple gold soars into the sky, and the elixir rains down. The hidden veins of the whole country bow down, the eternal helmsman of Netherworld Pavilion. Everyone shouted in unison, the blood, sweat, and elixir were mixed, the pattern of the world of cultivation was forever reversed, and the name of the overlord was as high as the sun. However, deep in the map, new black spots pulsate faintly, indicating a more bloody battle. It is refreshing and satisfying, and suspense is undercurrent. The reader is itching and unbearable, and the ambition of the sequel is endless. Soaring into the beam of light, the phone runes suddenly flashed a deep red warning, the black dots on the edge of the new map pulsated like a galaxy, the dark wind of the unknown fairyland shrilled, and the ancient voice chuckled faintly with the stench of rotting bones. There is only one corner of the ghost city, the true fairyland, a bloody battle, we are waiting for the overlord. Mo Fan's golden eyes flashed slightly, and he sneered silently. The beam of light suddenly disappeared into the sea of clouds, leaving the Immortal Alliance Chief Helm's elixir fragrance lingering forever, the world's hidden veins buzzing with green light, and the legend of the Cultivation Overlord continues to write a higher legend.